Merry Christmas, guys. My rack's crooked. So, my tie is green. Isn't that so cool? The Christmas tree is green. I think that's wicked cool. Anyway, anyway, Merry Christmas. If you are home alone for Christmas, come here. We're going to do a nice long stream. We're going to do a gang trial. And I hunt you. Merry Christmas. Court Vibes gang style, yeah. Yeah, we didn't choose the thug life. The thug life chose us with antlers and a professional tie. Thug. Hey, Debbie. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I figured if I'm going to do a nice long stream, I'm going to be comfortable. Hey, Salty. Right? Kelly has two cats on her right now. Kelly, I hope you're feeling better and I hope you're not rushing it. It's okay if you don't feel better yet. You don't have to rush it. You can feel better whenever you feel better. I mean, that's how it works. Hey, Brecken. Hey, Junebug, I think you're going to like this stream. Oh, Jethro, I can't even imagine waking up to a magistrate on Christmas. I just can't. Hey, Monica, love. Hi. Merry Christmas. Marty, thank you. I'm a professional. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I missed Bill. So when Bill came in, I was moving my screen from full screen to, you know, and then I was moving it and I missed Bill. Bill, I was thinking about you during my stream because we had standard deviation and outliners and data and statistics. College professor was showing the class, and I thought, man, I bet Bill would like this. Bill would like this part. Oh, yeah, KS. I know they were harassing you during the last stream. Donald, Merry Christmas, Donald. No, no, you don't. So, I got a gang trial. Um, this started October 29th and ended, I think, November 1st. Well, it was 2 days, so I don't know how many days were in October. Oh, what I think happened was there was a weekend at the end of October because I think I got this on the 29th and the 1st, but I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. I love it. Thank you, Salty. I'm professional. I'm a very, very professional. I miss Child all of a sudden. And guys, I have a short video. It's 18 minutes long, which I think is way too long because I don't think anybody's going to stay around to watch the golden good part. I'm going to put a 10-minute video out later. Just going to cut the whole first part out and show it to you later. And it's really good. I really, really like it. You're going to like it too. You really are. But that's for later. That's a Christmas present for later. A quickie. Oh no. What is your amazing news? Yeah, you're right. You're right. 31 days are in October. Come on, what's your amazing news? I need to know. All right, I'm going to start this while she gives us her amazing news. So this isn't Georgia. Hold on. Okay, this is opening statements. Okay? The If you notice the attorney standing over here, there's no microphone on that podium. So the audio at the beginning is a little iffy, but don't worry, it gets fine as soon as they move towards the microphones. Except I don't think the judge's microphone is on the whole time. So, but we still get to hear him. It's just the audio is going to be really great for some parts and then not so great for others. And you know how attorneys are. If they see a microphone, they like to walk way away from it when they're talking. So we're going to see that too. We're going to get to see a lot of body cam footage and things like that. I There is a jury, correct. I do not know what happens in this trial. I know it's a gang related. I don't know if it's murder. I don't know if it's sad. I don't know. I didn't know I was going to play this today. I just decided to play this, 40 minutes ago. So I didn't get a chance to watch it. So I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. And if it gets bad, I'm just going to turn it off. It's not a big deal. Oh, that's so cool. When is he coming home? How much longer until he comes home? Oh, that's so awesome. Elite. Merry Christmas. Gangstas. No, the mic. Okay, hold on. Look.
When you went there and talked to him.
See? You can hear that. You just can't hear the first part because he's not at a microphone. So you'll be able to hear it. It's just some parts you can't. You got to listen real hard. All right, here we go.
Through his life. So I ask y'all to listen to all the testimony, all the contradictions of testimony, and follow the timeline. I'm glad you got paper and pencil to keep that timeline going. What we have is a situation where the evidence shows, and they're trying to pin this on Andre, Jaquevius Bray goes to near the dollar store. I expect the evidence will show that. Wearing a ski mask. The person that's even alleged as the shooter, the evidence will show by the witness statement, he's wearing a ski mask that covers everything but his eyes. Yet, the evidence will show that he's being identified, that 16-year-old Andre is being identified. The evidence will not show that he was at any location around a dollar store and at the location at Captain D's, that dollar store, walking on the street, because he's seen by an individual who says, I'm driving back home, and I look, and there's some guy walking with a certain dress on, and he's got a ski mask on. And later on, I live in Sunset, I live near Nice Street, I see that same individual running across my yard, still with a ski mask on.
Do not worry, guys. Audio might be bad except for when someone coughs or sneezes or stamps. That's perfect audio. Perfect audio.
Look at William Rose's body cam, because it will show Jaquemus Bray run up to the scene.
Yay,
No shirt,
Debbie.
ski mask around his neck. The evidence will show at the Ramada. The evidence shows that Jaquemus Bray has put on a ski mask. The evidence will never show that they got a ski mask from Andre Johnson. This is a tale of two different tales that merge together, and misfortune befalls a 16-year-old for hanging around with those individuals. It's not ganged up. There's no evidence that he's in the gang. I challenge the state to
Hi,
say
Alan.
that. To put somebody up that will say that, and we believe it. So, I'm getting carried away, trying to give you that roadmap. Listen to the version of two stories and how they converge with nothing about Andre Stalker, and then they all start changing to put Andre in there. But your job would be to
Gang,
look
gang.
at all
Yeah.
all the statements, all the contradictions, put that together. And it's going to be reasonable doubt beyond anything, and it may even show the GBI agent and the state who did this crime. who did this shooting. But it's, if you just sort of listen to it, it will not be clear.
This is
Except
Georgia.
one thing. Andre Johnson wasn't even there.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Ms. Stanley, on behalf of the state, you can call your first witness.
Kimberly Renfro.
You're going to enjoy some of these witnesses. Actually, there is one witness that I showed in my stream one day, just a piece of what he did because it was so good. So you're gonna like these witnesses.
Hang on just a minute. It looks like we got an issue.
I love you more, Nancy. Yes, I do. Hi, Nancy.
Says she's starting to feel sick.
All right. Council approach. Let her step out for just a minute.
All right.
She says she's starting to feel sick.
Hold on. Let's see if we can hear.
So what y'all want me to do?
Hey,
Try to get some water and see how she's
All right. That's fine. Huh?
no.
Where is she going?
No, up here, up here. No, she's the witness.
All right, we've got a juror that's not feeling well. We're gonna take a few minutes to see if she can gather, get to feeling better. I'm gonna ask that y'all go back to the jury room and as soon as, let's let her have about
Not only that, she's on a jury for a gang member or multiple. I don't know yet. That's scary. They'll get you. They'll get you back. If you're the jury, they're gonna get you back. It's scary. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know that I have a verdict at the end, so they do fix this.
5 minutes, the lady that just left, and then I'm gonna ask that you let her come back without the rest of the jury so I can talk with her. And so let's be in recess
Trying to boost
for
my
about 5
Wi-Fi.
minutes. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Let's all rise for the jury, please.
Oh no, June! I thought you were gonna like this one. None of y'all stood for the jury. Rude. You guys are a true thug.
And I'm gonna ask Miss Renfro just to step back out until we see what's going on. All right, if you just step back outside the courtroom. All right, please be seated. Let's see where we are in a minute.
I can imagine.
You're not feeling well? What? Miss Little, right?
Yes.
All right. Miss Little, you're not feeling well?
Stop. Stop.
Tell me what's, basically going on with you.
I just feel like I'm gonna pass out. I have POTS.
You have what?
POTS.
Well, the problem is that you got selected for this jury and you didn't make us aware that you had some issues.
Judge, I'm sorry, but I'm sick as well.
Okay?
I'm sorry, can I just have a minute or two?
Yo, what did the gang do?
It's okay. Just relax. That'll be fine.
Bah, humbug security. Wow. What about sitting? What about sitting in a jury seat for 8 hours? What does that do?
I'm fine now. Just
Okay.
want any more egg rolls from Saxby's.
All right, come on, Mr. Little. All right, what I was saying is, you know, we're in this, we started in this trial and you got selected and we weren't advised that you had health issues. And so, we really need you to go forward as, in your obligation as a juror. You understand that,
I don't think I can.
ma'am?
I don't think I can.
State wish to ask her any questions?
Judge, may Mr. Harris and I first,
Sure. You can go back over there and have a seat.
Yes, they do have alternates. Yes, yes, yes. But they don't like to give up jurors. Nobody likes to give up jurors. Ever.
I've not run into this before, Judge, so I will ask the court to use your discretion to decide what to do.
I mean, I've been watching her since I got the note.
Not me, Donald. I would want to be there. I was on jury once. It was boring.
Distractions, I'm not concerned about what the state is saying.
I was just called recently for grand jury, but I did not get selected. Bummer.
Alternate after we let her go, so. All right. Miss Little, you're free to go, okay?
Yes, thank
Do you have anything back there?
Have you got your purse or something in the jury room?
you.
Okay. You got all your personal belongings?
That's your drink, okay?
All right, take her pad, please.
Yes, sir.
Only the strong survive in gang
Until ready
trials,
for the
guys.
jury to come back. Stay
Yes, sir.
tense. All right,
Yes, sir.
let's all rise for the jury, please.
Nope. That's why they have alternates. perfectly normal. Boring, and I got like $15 for the day. 2 days. I don't remember how many days. It was just so boring. We just heard a little bit of some of the opening statements saying that this guy is innocent, and he didn't do it. That's how far in we are.
All right, let's all be seated, come back to order. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have relieved Miss Little from her obligation as a juror in this matter. She was having some health issues, and so that means that Miss Dowdy, you're now the main 12 juror, one of the main 12 jurors, okay? And Miss Jenkins, that means you're now you moved up one. You're now number one, okay? All right, let's proceed with your witness.
This is the other grumpy judge. Don't know his name yet. I can't remember his name. But he loves yelling at lawyers. Ha!
Ma'am, if you'll come and step up and stand next to the chair for me, please. You'll be kind enough to raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You'll be kind enough to take a seat. Once you take your seat, if you'll state your name for the record, and then for the benefit of the court reporter, spell it for her, please.
Kimberly Renfro, Kimberly Renfroe.
What town do you live in?
Eastman.
And are you working right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what town do you work in?
I work in Empire.
Okay. Kimberly, do you know a person by the name of Zaquan Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the jury how you know Zaquan?
We were seeing each other from April of 2022 until August when he passed.
Okay. And did Zaquan have a nickname that he went by?
Yes.
What was that?
Benji.
Kimberly, do you have any children?
I do now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any children with Zaquan Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How old is that child?
She's 18 months old.
Okay. And do you recall an incident that happened to you and Zaquan on August the 20th of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
We were robbed at gunpoint.
Okay. Can you tell us how that came to be?
Benji texted me. He needed a ride. And he was supposed to come over to my house that night. So I went and picked him up. We went by Circle K to pick up some snacks from the individual who robbed us. We were going to drop it off at Jaheim's house when the robbery took place outside of his house.
Okay.
She sounds sweet and innocent, doesn't she? Sweet and innocent.
Now, you said that you were going to drop something off at Jaheim's house.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is Jaheim?
At the time, I thought he was a friend of Benji's.
Do you know his last name?
Washington.
Okay. And can you tell me where that house was that you went to?
I don't know the exact street.
Okay. When you pulled up in that driveway, did you know that was Jaheim Washington's house?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did you know that?
We had gone by there previously.
Now, do you know who the person was that robbed you?
Yes.
Who was that?
Corvante Walker.
And how do you know Corvante Walker?
The night after the robbery, once we got home, he told me, Benji told me who that was that had robbed us, and I knew him from a previous interaction between him and Benji.
So had you seen him before?
Not in person, only in a picture.
Okay. And let's start talking about what happened from the moment that you and Zaquan pulled up to Jaheim Washington's house.
It was raining really hard that night, so Corvante got into my back seat. Benji was selling him some weed. He got into my back seat and they were
there it
talking
is.
for a moment. I wasn't really listening. I was in the driver's seat and it got really quiet for a moment, and I looked over and Corvante had a gun. Benji was kind of looking over to me like scared to move. And I believe Corvante tried to snatch his bag and they got into an altercation. Corvante jumped in between us into my middle console. They were still fighting over the bag, and I kind of tuned in then and realized that that it was serious and they weren't like messing with each other. I said something along the lines of, chill out, it's not that serious.
Hi, KK.
And that's when I was struck with the gun. And Corvante ended up getting into Benji's lap. They continued fighting each other, and eventually Benji pushed him out of the car. We drove away, and Corvante shot at the car as we were driving away.
Okay. Now, you just said that you were struck with the gun.
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you struck?
In my jaw here on the left side.
Okay. And after you pulled out of Jaheim Washington's driveway, where did you and Zaquan go?
Back to my house.
Okay. And where were you living at the time?
I lived off of Soperton Highway.
When you got back to the house with Zaquan, can you tell the jury how Zaquan was acting?
He was very angry, just kind of riled up. I asked him if he thought he had been set up, and he said, of course he was.
Now I'm going to ask you, what do you mean, of course he was?
Um,
Do you want the details of the conversation that we had?
I would object to any conversation by someone who's deceased and not available as a witness.
Your Honor, at this time, Ms. Renfro has stated on the record that Zaquan, the victim, was under the stress of the event. They had just got back to her house from the robbery. Any statements he made would be admissible as an excited utterance while under the stress from the event.
At this particular moment,
I'm sorry?
at this particular moment. when-
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna allow her I'm gonna overrule the objection. And let her testify as to this particular time.
Do you need me to repeat?
Yes, please.
Okay. You said that you had asked Zaquan, did he think he had been set up? And he said, of course he was. Can you explain that for us?
Well, since the robbery took place outside of Jaheim's house, I asked him, do you think Jaheim set you up? And he said, of course, I know he did. And that's when he told me about a group chat that they had, and Jaheim and some other individuals, I guess, were upset at him for attempting to leave their gang and their group chat. at the time.
Okay. Now, we're talking about this group chat. Do you know,
Your Honor, again, I would object to that. Group chat is, we're not related in time to this incident.
I'm not going to ask any of the contents within that chat, just what was her understanding of what it was.
What's the difference?
I'm not going to get into any contents of what was in the
You
chat.
asked her what her understanding is, it's gonna be based on what somebody else told her about it, or, correct?
It's going to be based on what Zaquan told her at that moment.
I will sustain the objection. We're not gonna get into the chat.
Okay. Now, Kimberly, you mentioned, Zaquan trying to get out of the gang. Do you personally know what gang we're talking about?
I believe it was GD.
Okay. Now, was Zaquan killed, or let me ask it this way. How long after this was Zaquan killed?
The robbery took place around 12, maybe 12:30 a.m. On the 21st, and I believe he was killed around 5 or 6 on the 21st. So
5:06 AM or PM?
p.m.
Kimberly, can you tell us what happened the day Zaquan was killed?
I wasn't at the location when he passed away. Could I tell you about what, the day before before he left my house?
Yes.
He asked to borrow my keys. He was going to go by Circle K again. And he said he had to go into Hawkinsville to meet someone, and he was gone for a little while longer than I expected, and his mom called me and told me what happened.
Okay. Kimberly, when Zaquan died,
Thank you.
was he in your car?
Yes, ma'am.
What color car was it?
It was burgundy.
Do you remember talking to GBI agents after this happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I have marked as State's Exhibit 1.
This isn't an airport. You don't have to announce your departure.
And once you've had a minute to look at it, you can hand it back. Kimberly, did you
Security
remember what
is
this
here to
was?
break rules.
Was it a search warrant for my car?
Do you remember giving Agent Howard consent to search your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Was this the form that you signed?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it appear to be the same as the one that you signed and not changed?
Yes, ma'am.
The state moves to tender State's Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Objection,
None, Your Honor.
submitted without objection.
State will move to publish to the jury.
All right. Well, let's continue with our questions.
And Kimberly, when you talked to the GBI agent, you just stated that you gave him consent to search the car. Did you also talk to him about this robbery?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you tell him what happened during the course of that robbery?
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Yes, sir. Ms. Renfro, how long had you been with Mr. Brown?
We met at the end of April 2022, and he stayed with me majority of the time up until the day he passed.
Did you participate in his sale of marijuana on other occasions rather than that night on the 20th, 21st?
Objection, relevance.
He's got her on cross-examination. He's entitled to a thorough and sifting cross-examination. I'm going to allow the objections over.
Repeat the question, please.
Did you participate in other sales other than on that night when you went to the Nice Street address?
I had ridden with him before, yes.
Is that how you had met Jaheim before, or
No.
what, was it when you met Walker?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. And was it at that address?
On Nice Street?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pause it for a second to help people real quick. Just a second, guys. So, Discord. Here's Discord, okay? Most of y'all go into general. Like, you click the court vibes thing and you go into general. And that's where everybody talks. I'm behind. It's fine. I was doing some streams. A lot of y'all go into Judge Fleischer live chat. Okay? But there's so much more you can do. You can post your Christmas decorations, your animals. I'm the only one who gets to use this one, except Fozzie does sometimes. Alright. Military. Military stories, thanking military, go there. Just for Vibers, you can do pretty much whatever you want there. If you have videos that you want to post, there's where you put the videos. You want to talk about music or show off your music skills, go there. Hobbies, oh my gosh, there is some great stuff in there. Recipes, oh my gosh, oh, it's so good. Memes, yes, you can look at memes all day long. You can just look at memes all day long and giggle and laugh when there's no court going on. I love memes. Whine away. If you have a problem and you don't want to, like, you feel like you're bothering people, but you want to talk about it, but you don't want to bother everybody in general. If you feel that way, you can bother anybody in general at any time. But if you feel like you have a problem, you just want to talk to some people about, whine away is where you go. That's when Linus visited. GoFundMe is for Judge Fleischer. We're going to get him a billboard for 2026. And we're just bouncing around ideas on how to get this billboard in the GoFundMe. Life stories. You guys have some amazing life stories. So, yeah, it's both, Salty, both. So, go and post your life stories. Just tell us a story about yourself. You guys have a lot. This one's going away soon. Send Judge Fleischer a birthday card. His birthday's in a couple days, so if you haven't mailed it out yet, you can mail it out today and you'll be fine. I had to put that donation information. Don't worry about test. Now it's what's better is down here. You can go into, I'm going to click this and pray nobody goes in there right now because I can't. You can go into vocal vibrations and you can talk to people. You can talk to other people. If you just sit here, someone will come in and talk to you. And you can choose an activity. You can play games with people. You can watch videos together with people. Quizzes. Yes. So, I need to get out of vocal vibrations or, oh no, security. Security, if you say anything, everybody will hear you. Say hi. Say hi, mate.
No. Hello, everyone. Happy Hi, everyone. Merry Christmas for the future.
Oh no. Guys, I can't stay here. I'm doing a stream. I gotta go. Bonjour. Bonjour, Charlotte. Bye. So, I know you guys, Discord seems, foreign and scary. It's not. It's so much fun. And then all of our friends' channels are here. So, when there's a video, they post the link here. And then you know that, they're about to go live and you can go right to their link. So, anyway, that was just a quick tutorial. And you saw I went into vocal vibrations and 2 people came in right away. That's normal. We've had vocal vibrations last for days before. where people just kept it open because people kept coming in and leaving. Go to Discord if you need to. It's fun and it's funny. All right, back to court. Merry Christmas, guys.
Now, you had a conversation on that night. You drove up with your mother and her friend to the scene of the accident, scene of the murder.
My mother and her fiance,
Yes.
we drove past Jahim's house that night to look for Benji.
Oh, you got me. You got me. You got me so good, Fozzie. Charlotte, say something in French. Charlotte, say something in French.
Let me back you up there. After the robbery, you went back home.
That's not Charlotte.
Okay. Did you loan Brown your firearm?
I did not loan it to him, but he acquired it and took it with him.
Okay. What kind of firearm did you have?
I can't say for sure. I believe it was either a 380 or a 38.
Okay. It was an automatic, didn't have a revolver.
Correct.
Okay. When you went to the scene, the officer there instructed you to go to the GBI agent office,
Yes, sir.
and that's here in Eastman.
Yes, sir.
And did you go there?
Yes, sir.
You spoke with Agent Howard at that time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did he record that conversation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember when he was talking with you that you said that you were going to serve a customer with him?
Yes.
Okay. And that meant sell marijuana?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you knew what the situation was going to be when you used your car and him to go make that sale?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You stopped and picked up snacks. Were they burritos? Dorito bags?
I
You
didn't
remember?
see everything. It was a big bag of.
I'm doing that again, guys. I have to.
You stopped and picked up snacks. Were they burritos? Dorito bags?
I
You
didn't
remember?
see everything. It was a big bag of chips, snacks. I don't know what all was in there.
Okay. When you arrived at that residence with Jakeem, two people came to the car.
Yes, sir.
There was this Mr. Walker and his girlfriend.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was she able to get in the car?
No.
Why was she not able to get in the car?
I had a car seat in the back seat.
Okay. When Walker got in the car, how far down the road did you get
We
before
didn't.
this incident?
We didn't drive.
It was in front of the house?
Yes.
Okay. When there was an incident, Walker had a gun. Did he strike you with the gun during this melee?
Yes.
Okay. And somehow or another, he was able to grab a bag.
Yes, sir.
Did he take any money?
I can't say for sure.
Okay. He took the bag. How big a bag was it?
It was a kid's backpack.
Okay. Was it a blue? Do you describe it as a blue bag to the officer?
I believe it was blue. It had Minecraft characters on it.
Okay. Now, when this Walker fellow ran away, there were shots fired?
Yes, sir.
Did Mr. Brown have a gun?
He did.
Okay. Do you remember what kind of gun it was?
I do not.
Okay. Did you describe it to the Agent Howard?
What it looked like?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Automatic weapon. It had a green and gray top to it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you went there and talked to him, did you give him any documentation or anything at that time?
To Officer Howard?
To Howard, yes.
I don't believe so.
Sometime there was another interview. Was it at that interview that you gave him a screenshot of text messages?
Yes, sir.
All right. let me show you what's going to be marked as Defendant's Exhibit Number 1. Where are those things? I'm going to mark this as a Defendant's Exhibit Number 1 and ask if you can identify these photographs.
It consists of 2 pages.
Yes, 2 pages. I don't know which one's the first and second.
I understand that, but I just want to.
I agree. You probably could. I'm gonna go with yes on this one.
Photographs of Texas.
Yeah, the screen text, is that the ones you gave to Agent Howard?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me which page is first and which page is second?
I believe this one is first.
Okay.
All right, so everybody in this courtroom understands what you're saying. You believe the first one to be, give us some way of, can we put,
I would ask her to staple the page, first page on top, second page on the bottom. How about that?
fine,
Okay.
And just hang on to that. Did you,
I love how she did that right in front of the microphone just for us. Melissa, we miss you, honey.
you gave that to Agent Howard?
Yes, sir.
Is that a fair and accurate description that I just handed you, those 2 documents?
true and accurate.
Just
Yes, yes,
True
sir.
and accurate,
True and accurate,
not a fair and accurate.
well, true and copy of what you gave to Agent Howard.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we would move to tender Defendant's Exhibit 1.
Objection,
No objection.
submitted without objection.
Okay. Now, can you decipher what that message says?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you read that to the jury? It's in text language, I guess?
Can I translate it?
Yes, please.
Okay, it says, basically, my people are supposed to be sending me $16 in a few. I can cash app you the whole 16 if they send it back. And can you take me to Dexter to pick up this girl named Nai? You probably know her. The rest is blocked out.
Let me stop you there. How did that get blocked out?
I believe Benji did it.
Okay. You already had that screenshot
Yes, that's how I got the screenshot.
from where? Benji's phone?
Yes.
There was a phone found in the vehicle, in your vehicle, when Benji ran into the tree. Was that the phone it came from? Do you know? Or did he have 2 phones?
He had just gotten his iPhone fixed shortly before he passed, so I'm not sure what phone was found.
But you must have had his new phone to get that screenshot.
No, this was sent to me on my phone.
Who sent that to you?
Saquon. Benji.
Benji. After the robbery?
No.
No.
This happened a while before the robbery.
The person that he is mentioning, a female, Nai, did you hear anyone call the black female that was with him Nai?
No,
Do
sir.
you remember what her name was?
No, sir.
Okay. And you don't know who did the deletion there with, looked like whiteout or something?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. Now, you knew the directions to the house on Knee Street already?
Yes, sir.
You said in your recording that was a friend's house of Jaheim Washington was his friend?
A friend of Benji?
Yes.
I believed so at the time. Yes, sir.
You said you called and you went to the friend's house. Do you remember saying that? Calling it a friend's house?
Benji's friend's house, yes.
Okay. Now, after this incident and after the shots were fired, that was at the Nice Street address?
Yes, sir.
Front yard? Okay. This Walker fella ran away. Which direction did he run?
We didn't see him run. I didn't see him run.
Okay. But you heard how many shots?
Maybe 5 to 7 as we were driving away.
Okay. And when you got back to your house with Benji, you looked at your car to see if it got hit.
Yes, sir.
Was it hit?
No, sir.
Okay. Then, let me keep looking here. Did you have your gun with you at the time that the robbery occurred?
No, sir.
Okay. You have a .380 pistol?
That sounds correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. After the incident there, when you were speaking with Agent Howard, Mr. Barlow went to the vehicle. Were you present when he went to the vehicle and obtained a gun? And gave them what reported to be Benji's gun. Did he give them Benji's gun?
No, that was done later.
Okay. When was that, the third interview?
I believe so.
Okay, you had an interview the first time at the GBI office on the 21st, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you had another interview that first interview was at 9:30 p.m. It was not at the night of the incident,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay. Then the next interview was August 22nd at 12:25 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that you went
Tina Santa Claus P. Thank you. Giving out gifts on Christmas.
there and also gave him, did you give him at that time a picture of who you thought did it or how?
Merry Christmas,
Yes, sir.
guys.
Well, let me show you what's marked as Defendant's Exhibit number 2 and 3. And ask if you can identify. Exhibits 2 and 3.
Yes, sir.
Are those true and accurate photographs of the photographs you gave to the agent?
Yes.
Howard? Okay. Who were those photographs of?
Now, hold on a minute, before she
Oh, I'm sorry.
testifies from the photographs they're gonna be.
Right. You know, I would tend to those photographs 2 and 3.
Objection?
No objection.
D2 is a picture of what?
Let me ask you that. D2 is a picture of what?
Corvante's Facebook page.
Okay.
Facebook page, and then the second, D3.
Shauna, thank you so
That's
much.
Corvante,
Thank
Where
you.
did
Merry
that picture
Christmas.
come from?
his Facebook page.
From his Facebook page. Okay. Now, the photograph, I believe it is Exhibit 3.
That literally would have saved my life. That would have made my life unbelievably different if they would have made it at 9 instead of 7 in the morning.
It has like an urn on his pocket,
This is Georgia.
does it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you put that on there, or was it on his Facebook page already?
It was like that on his page.
Okay. Now, the night of the robbery, Benji was there
I don't know.
at your house. He was very mad that night.
Yes, sir.
He asked to use your car to go to the store.
This was the next morning.
Nick, what time in the morning?
Maybe around 11
In the afternoon?
a.m. Yes, sir.
Did you,
She said 11 in the morning,
morning, I'm sorry, morning, 11 o'clock,
11 a.m.
8,
Yes, sir.
okay. Didn't you and your mother and Mr. Barlow drive around looking for your car that night?
Yes, that night. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And that's when he took your car, and later on you found out he took your pistol.
Yes.
So he had two pistols when he went to this niece residence.
Objection, speculation.
You can ask her, do you know how many pistols she had?
Did you know how
She
many?
had, but it's suggested. Mr. Objection is sustained, but you can rephrase.
At that time, were you missing your pistol?
I'm sorry, the night of the robbery or the next
Night
morning?
that you and your mother and Mr. Barlow was looking for him, were you missing your pistol?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you know that Mr. Brown had a pistol? At that
Yes, sir.
time? Okay. You didn't have the Mr. Brown's pistol at your house, did you,
I
at
can't,
that time?
I can't say for sure.
Okay. So y'all went around looking for him. When you got back to the house, what did you find?
Benji?
Benji was there in your
Yes.
car. Okay. Later on, you took him home to his house that night?
No, sir, he spent the night with me.
And this took place about 3 a.m. in the morning?
When we got back from looking for him,
Yes.
I'd say around 2 or 3.
Okay. Then the next morning, he woke up and asked to borrow the car again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When he came back to your house, after y'all looked for him, at that time, that trip, what did you do with your gun?
I reloaded my gun.
Was it empty?
Yes, sir.
Why did you reload that gun?
Because it was mine. It was given to me for self-defense. I was a woman who lived alone, and I kept my gun loaded.
And that gun was the gun that Benji took when he left to go that morning, you say at 11 a.m.
That was the gun he took the night of the robbery.
Okay. What gun did he take when he went back to the Spikes and ultimately was shot?
The next day,
Yes.
that was the gun. I just wasn't aware that he had taken it.
Okay. And that time he had left his gun at your house.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, see this, you told Agent Howard all of this information.
Yes, sir.
You told him that you went on a marijuana purchasing deal knowing it was going to happen,
Yes, sir.
okay? And that was the only way that Benji was going to get there was you taking him. He didn't have another car, did he?
No, but I'm sure he could have found another ride.
Okay, would have had to call somebody, but you gave him the ride.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then later on, when he is upset, he borrows your car and has your firearm. Did you ask him about where he was going?
The next morning,
The one that the trip he made right after the robbery, before you had to go with your mama and Mr. Barlow to look for him? Did he borrowed your car? Did you ask him where he was going?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Did you tell him, don't go back there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you thought he might go back there then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the next day, he borrowed your car again with his firearm, or your firearm then.
Yes, sir.
And you told this to Agent Howard.
Yes, sir.
So you were participating in a drug deal, selling marijuana, were you not, by giving him the ride?
Yes, sir.
He used your gun to shoot up the Spikes house,
Yes, sir.
and you had some indication he was going to do that, did you not?
Have a great time.
He was mad, and he had threatened to get him, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
And you told that to a GBI agent.
Yes.
Are your charges still pending?
I never had any pending charges.
They didn't charge you with a thing, did they?
No, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything on redirect?
Yes. Kimberly, Mr. Harrison has been asking you about this gun. If you could see a picture of your gun, would you recognize it?
I believe so. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I have marked as State's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize what that is?
Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am.
Is this your gun?
Yes.
Now, ma'am, she's not gonna testify from the picture until it's admitted. So
Can you
let's
tell-
get the picture admitted, and then she can testify as to the contents.
You said that you recognized what this was.
Yes.
Can you tell me what it is?
That's my gun.
Okay. Is this a true and accurate picture of your gun?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it appear to be altered or changed in any way?
No.
The state would move to tender State's Exhibit 2 into evidence.
No objection, Your Honor.
The state would move to publish it to the jury.
That's fine. The next time she testifies from a document, the document will be in evidence, and that means asking her if it's hers or something like that. Do we understand each other, Ms. Stanton?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He's like Giles, Judge Giles, who I miss dearly, dearly, dearly. They get on lawyers. The lawyer better be perfect, because if they're not, both of those judges are going to get you.
And Kimberly, Mr. Harrison was asking you about when Zaquan took that gun from you. When did you first notice that the gun was missing?
The night of the robbery.
Okay.
Okay,
And
I'm sorry, I was asking.
yes, I apologize. I was asking, when did you notice that your gun had went missing?
That night, I noticed after he had left in my car.
Okay. And between that time and when Zaquan was killed, did you see your gun again?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you saw your gun again, what did you do with it?
I reloaded my gun.
Okay. And when you say you reloaded it, how did you load it?
Like I normally would. And then I had one in the chamber, as I always did.
Was it fully loaded?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the night that the robbery occurred, did Zaquan ever shoot back?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Who was the only person shooting that night?
Corvante?
And do you know for a fact that Zaquan shot up the Spikes residence?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Harrison also asked you about some text messages. Do you remember those?
Yes, ma'am.
And were they screenshots?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what kind of screenshots those were.
I don't know. I don't know. I think she's telling the truth. I think she's telling the truth about everything so far.
The first one was, well, they were both sent to me because of a previous interaction. The first one was because he was giving Corvante a ride one day, and he just sent me that to show me that he was giving someone a ride in my car.
Okay. So is it fair to say that Zaquan sent you those screenshots?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go and get those off of his phone?
No, ma'am.
Did he send those to you on his own accord?
Yes.
Okay. And did you state that was because he was showing you he gave someone a ride
Yes.
in your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions.
Recrawl.
Yes, sir. Was that at the time of the, right before the marijuana sale that you were going to make with Brown to Mr. Walker?
The screenshots?
Yeah. That was the conversation that occurred right before where he was talking about getting the money and beating
No.
up?
No, these happened. These screenshots, I can't 100% say when, but it was weeks before all of this occurred.
Okay. Let me show you what's marked as State's Exhibit number
Steve.
4. You can identify that.
That's Jahim's Facebook page.
Is that a fair and accurate depiction, a photograph of the document you gave to Agent Howard during the, I think, the third interview?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that was to show who Jahim Washington was?
Yes, sir.
We would tender State Defendant's Exhibit 4.
Jackson,
Authenticity. I don't think he laid the proper foundation for that.
she says she gave it to the agent.
He had not asked if the document has been changed or if it is the same as the one she gave.
Does it appear to have been changed or altered in any way from the document you gave Agent Howard?
I do recognize this isn't my phone in the picture. And that's also not my fingernails, so I can't be 100% sure.
Okay.
But I know that I did show Jahim's Facebook page at some point.
To Agent Howard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will wait for Agent Howard to further identify. That's all I have.
All right, is this witness excused from her speaking?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes, yes, sir.
all right, now you are free to stay or go, whichever you prefer. Call your next witness, Mr. Daniel.
Corvante Walker.
Here we go. I think this is him, guys. Let's go. I think this is him. If someone comes out in orange, this is going to be good.
Walker, you come up here
Yep, this is him, guys.
and have a seat. Yes, sir.
You can give me this back because you didn't read it.
I did too. Oh, what's that?
For the record, this is how I expect y'all to act if you're ever called against me in court.
You'll stand next to that chair and raise your right hand when you get there, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Raise your right hand for me, please. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, you can have a seat. Upon being seated, if you'll state your name for the record and for the benefit of the court reporter, please spell it for me, okay?
My name is Corvante Walker. KORVONTEA WALKER.
That's a good answer.
Corvante, how old are you?
Need to respond to her questions. She asked you how old you were. Are you going to respond to her question?
These microphones pick up noise, and when they don't hear anything, then they mute themselves. So your audio is fine. It is.
Walker, are you going to respond to the questions? So you need to respond to the court. Court has certain authority in this situation and can punish you by punishing you for contempt of court. Ms. Morgan, this your client?
Yes, Judge.
You wish to speak to Ms. Morgan before we go any further? Ms. Morgan, I'm going to ask you to speak with me. I'm sorry?
I'm happy to talk to you.
All right. Let her go back there with him.
That's right. No matter what they ask you about me when you're on the stand, that's what you need to do. I mean, technically you were there when you were born, but you don't really know for a fact that that's your birthday, because you can't remember that. Your Honor, may I please treat him as a hostile witness?
Your Honor, to save the court some time should we approach.
Happy Boxing Day. Merry Boxing Day. I don't know if the judge is going to do anything to him. This is the clip that I showed on my stream. I don't see anybody coughing, but the microphone picked it up.
Being processed by. All right. Mr. Walker has been ordered by this court to testify. That order
Boxing Day is in 4 minutes.
having immunity from being prosecuted. His testimony in this matter is being used to prosecute as to his
Your audio's fine. It's theirs. It's theirs that's the problem. Now, I think that's so this is me trying to make sure that the audio is still fine, and it is. It's just not picking up anything right now. And unfortunately, still no audio. Still no audio. Still no audio. And then he goes offline. There's more, though. There's more. Don't worry. This is the next day.
Phone and try to talk to.
So we are going to get to see some body cam and things like that for this one. I didn't see this one. I don't know how good it is, but I think there's some really good witnesses on this one. I could be wrong. Hi, Rambo's mom.
Phone and try to talk to Andre on the 21st.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did anyone call you and ask where Andre was?
Oh, Miss Suzanne, the probation officer? Yeah, she called.
Okay. So you've mentioned somebody named Miss Suzanne. What time did Miss Suzanne call?
She called at 6:52, and I actually missed that call, and so I called her back at 6:53.
Okay. And did you ever talk to Miss Suzanne at any other time?
Yes, later on that night once, I think I got home.
Okay. You said that was around 8 or a little after 8?
Yes.
Okay,
She basically was doing curfew checks.
okay. And, let me ask you this. If she had already come to court and provided testimony that she asked to
Your
talk to
Honor, again, I would
Andre,
object to her commenting, to ask her to comment on the testimony of a witness that's previously been testified. That's not proper to have her comment.
This lady can testify as to what her knowledge is.
yes.
I'm gonna sustain.
She would have no knowledge of what the lady testified
I'm
to.
sustaining your objection.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If Miss Suzanne had already come to court and testified that she called you around 6:53, you didn't answer, you called her back.
Or 6:52 to be precise.
Okay, she called you, or you called her back about 6:53. And at that time, Andre wasn't with you for her to talk to him.
Yes, he were.
Okay, so are you saying it's a lie if Suzanne is saying that he was not with you for her to talk to Andre?
I guess I would be saying she's lying.
Okay. Why would you call back around 8:29 if you had already talked?
When we had already talked to her, I was driving. And I told her I was driving. On my way home, she said, okay, just give me a call once you arrive home.
Okay. All right. When you got back to Ryan with Andre, what happened then?
What do you mean what happened?
What happened when you pulled back up in the driveway?
I went in the house and normal routine of being in the home.
Okay. Did Andre go in?
Sure he did.
Okay. And what did he do?
Most likely went in his room and started playing video games or something or watching TV.
And what did you do?
Basically the same thing.
Okay. What time did y'all go to bed that night?
I really couldn't even tell you the truth or whatever about that, Miss Stanley. I go to bed at different times.
Okay. Can you tell me, where was your other sons that you had mentioned on the 21st?
Jarvion,
Yes.
what was he at on the 21st?
Where was he at?
He was home.
Okay, so Jarvion was at home.
Yes.
Do you know if he was at home the whole day?
I mean, I'm not sure if he was there the whole day or he went in with some of his friends or what. We was in Warner Robins, Georgia.
What about Warner Robins?
I said, I'm not sure if he was home all day himself or somewhere else because me and Andre was in Warner Robins.
Okay. But you testified at some point on the 21st, y'all did go to the house in Ryan.
Yeah, at 8:51 we arrived home.
Okay. But I thought that you said that Kayla took Andre home, that y'all were at the house for a minute, he did some work for Miss Maddie, and then y'all left and went to Bonnet.
Okay, I need a chart. Please, someone draw me a chart because I don't understand.
That was the daytime. It really
That's what I'm
explains to
asking
me,
about.
what are you trying to get to?
I'm asking you, was Jarvion at home that day?
When we arrived home, correct?
After
Are you
in
saying
January.
arrived home at night?
Or that daytime?
I'm asking when you arrived home at any point that day.
She's trying to appreciate when you say arrived home, what do you mean?
Right.
You mean when she got back from Warner Robins or before she went to the store or whatever?
Yes,
I
and-
think she's having a hard time appreciating.
Right, because I feel like she's insinuating
Ma'am.
that.
When I talk,
Okay,
nobody else talks.
I got you, Judge.
And
I'm
you're not
sorry.
gonna debate with her,
Mhm.
okay?
Okay.
The problem is, she's not having appreciation of what you're saying, arrive at home.
Okay.
So if you could lay a little bit of a foundation as to what you mean by that.
Okay, I can be more specific, Ms. Wilcox, I apologize.
Okay.
When you were at home and when Kayla dropped Andre off in that afternoon, who was at the house?
Me, Andre, and Jarvion.
Okay, so you're saying that Jarvion was at the house that afternoon when Kayla dropped Andre off?
Yes, he were.
Okay. Now, would you be surprised if Jarvion had told Agent Howard that he had not seen either one of y'all at the house that day?
Well, Jarvion, most likely he was in his room or something. I don't know.
Okay. Does Jarvion stay in his room the whole time?
Oh, yeah, he really does. Like,
Okay.
on video games constantly.
Okay. Now, let me ask you about another specific time. When you got back a little after 8
Damn, I love snacks and coffee. Damn, thank you so much.
o'clock at night, was Jarvion there then?
Yes, he were.
Okay. Did you see him?
Yes, I did. I actually went in his room then and asked him what he had eaten and everything.
Okay. Did Andre see him?
I'm sure he did.
Okay. Then would it surprise you that Jarvion said that he didn't see either one of you that day?
Really?
It would?
Yeah, that would surprise me.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you something about earlier in that day during the afternoon time. Would it surprise you if multiple people put Andre at the Spikes house?
Yeah, that would surprise me also
Tell me why it would surprise you.
because he was home once we came back from Warner Robins, Georgia, other than before he left with Miss Kayla.
Okay. Let me go back to that Saturday, the day before.
Okay.
Was Andre at home at any point on Saturday?
No.
He was not at home.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Where was he?
At Risby's and then went to the Ramada Inn in Warner Robins, Georgia.
Okay. Would it surprise you if Jarvion had said that Andre was at home Saturday doing yard work?
Doing yard work.
Mm-hmm.
Jarvion wasn't even home himself Saturday.
Okay.
He was in Warner Robins also.
Who?
You know, they might have had it up until they put in the doing yard work part. Because we know that's not true. I don't know if any of my kids have ever just done yard work.
Was he with in Warner Robins?
His friends, Nathan McKinney,
Okay. Were they at the same place that Andre was at or somewhere different?
different places, but
Different
in the
places.
same city.
Okay. Now, let me ask you about something else. Earlier today, you told Mr. Harrison that you do DoorDash.
Correct.
Okay. On Saturday, the 20th, were you working for DoorDash?
Yes, I were.
Okay. And what town were you working for DoorDash in?
In Eastman.
In Eastman, okay. On Sunday, the 21st, were you working for DoorDash?
I had actually logged in, but it was giving crappy orders, so I didn't take any.
Okay. So, just so I can make sure that we understand,
That is such a great question, guys. Do you go cut the grass or do you mow the lawn? Or do you cut the lawn or mow the grass? I'm a mow the lawn. I mow the lawn. Come on, what do you guys do? Cut the grass or mow the lawn? You gotta let us know. It's a great question.
when you say that you logged into DoorDash, what
Correct.
does that mean?
Like you actually log in on your app from your phone. And
Okay,
you like basically register yourself to DoorDash at whatever time you want to start DoorDashing.
okay. So did you register yourself to start DoorDashing?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you end up doing any DoorDashing?
No, like I said, it was crappy orders or whatever coming through, so I never accepted any.
Okay. What happens when you don't accept any orders?
It just times out. You let it time out. You have 30 to 60 seconds to let
Okay.
it time out.
I don't have to hire a bloke. I have a son.
Or decline.
Okay. And do you recall around what time it was that you started scheduling to DoorDash?
I actually scheduled probably like 4 something right after I had arrived in Warner Robins.
Okay.
But like I said, it was giving some crappy orders.
So
I
you were
never-
door dashing in Warner Robins, not Eastman.
That was Sunday that I
Okay.
actually scheduled myself, but like I said, crappy orders, and I never accepted any.
Okay.
Scissors?
Now, you said that Andre is your son, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Wilcox, would you lie for your son?
No, I wouldn't.
Hi, Charlotte.
Would you do anything to help your son?
In what kind of way?
I'm just asking in general, would you do
Like
anything to help your son?
health-wise, like resuscitating, sure, because that's my
Okay.
son. I sure would give him CPR. Homework, anything dealing with school, but what you're trying to say, no ma'am.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you recall you and Andre meeting Tyrese Spikes in the Little Caesars parking lot here in Eastman?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Tell the jury about that.
What would you like for me to tell them?
Just tell them about the meeting.
Okay, well, we met with them after we heard or whatever that their house had been shot up. And I was telling him how that was really messed up, that his house, that the guy, Zaquan Brown, actually got robbed there and went back, was sent someone else apparently the first time to shoot their house up because he didn't exactly have his gun on him, and then went back himself and actually shot the house up again. And in the mix of that, also shot Roderick Brown.
Okay. So were you there during any of that?
Any of what?
Any of what you just said happened?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So you don't have personal knowledge of any of that?
No.
So you can't say if that's true or false. It's just
No.
what you've been told.
Exactly, about
Okay.
what different people have said in this case
Okay.
of their testimonies.
So is it fair to say that you were a party to the conversation where you, Andre, Tyrese were all talking in the parking lot?
Well, really, it was me and Tyrese talking.
Okay. Did you walk off at any point, or were you there during the whole conversation?
I might have walked off because I was speaking with another fellow, which is my father-in-law,
Okay.
Mr. Norman. So
Okay.
I did walk off, for a period of time or whatever to really talk to him. And he asked me what I was doing. I said, you know me, I'm outdoor dashing.
Okay. Well, at any point, did you hear a conversation between Andre and Tyrese about this shooting and
No.
about their involvement in it?
No.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Would you be surprised if I told you that you responded right after they were talking and you were standing right there
Responded to what?
to the conversation that was going on?
When I said that that's effed up, that he came and shot your mother's house up?
Around that time.
Oh, okay.
So you didn't hear Andre and Tyrese talking about their involvement in this shooting,
No,
and you were standing right there?
no, I did not.
Okay, no further questions.
Anything on redirect?
Briefly, Your Honor, how far is Maddie Wilcox's house from your house in Ryan?
I skip and a hop. I mean, you could look from my front porch and it's right there, not even a half a mile.
Nothing further. I'm sorry, one more question. How do you know all those times?
Because of my Google timeline, and basically, I have been dealing with this for over 2 years. This has been my life. I know every known factor in this said case.
Let me ask you, is that timeline still on your phone?
It sure is.
Nothing further.
Anything on recross?
Not for this witness.
All right, is this witness excused from her subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor.
This lawyer just was so proud of himself. And he was looking at the prosecutor. Hold on, let's watch this again. He's so proud of himself. I think he has a smoking gun.
Nothing further.
Watch.
Anything on recross?
Not for this witness.
All right, is this witness excused from her subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor.
State,
She is from
all
mine.
right. Ma'am, Ms.
Both.
Wilcox, you can.
I use both.
Stay or go. You can stay in the courtroom if you like, or you can leave the
Okay.
courthouse if you like, whichever you prefer.
May I step back out and grab my purse?
I'm sorry.
May I step out and grab my purse from
Yes.
outside?
Mr.
Okay.
King, make sure she retrieves her purse, and then you want to come back into the courtroom now?
Yes, sir.
All right, that'll be fine. All right, Mr. Harrison, call you next witness.
The defense rests, Your Honor.
All right, the defense rests. Does the state have anything in rebuttal?
I don't.
All right, so we don't have any rebuttal. So the evidence is closed in this case. All right, very good.
Damn, I wanted more witnesses.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you can discern from my remarks, the evidence in this case is closed. It's a little early for a break in light of the fact we've only been going about 45 minutes. But I need about maximum 10 minutes to deal with a couple of things with the lawyers. And once we come back, or that 10 minutes is gone by, we'll have closing arguments in this case, and then I'll charge you in this case, okay? So I'm gonna let y'all have a break right now, and let's all rise for the jury.
These people can all watch themselves, the back of themselves on the TV
Mr.
in front of me.
King, if you tell Mr. Eller I need him,
Uh-oh.
Marlon. All right, let's come back to order, and I'm gonna let y'all have a little break before y'all, how is the state going to handle its argument?
I will waive open and close.
And how long do you expect to argue?
Probably close to an hour.
And, Mr. Harrison?
About an hour.
This is him right here.
All right. Let's go back. First off, I have received the verdict form that has been amended by the state. It appears, Mr. Harrison, that it has.
Take a shot every time we, everybody get your liquor ready and take a shot every time we,
What you requested. Have you seen it?
No, Your Honor.
Could you look at it and?
That was just a witness, Randy. Regulators.
All right, so the verdict form is then agreeable to the state and to the defense.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then I just want to make sure, in regards to the charges, as I understand it, the state has no objection to the charge.
I don't.
And then, Mr. Harrison, your only objection is to the manner in which the court is going to charge alibi.
And we requested the court to charge, as we said, the gangland charge. But I understand the court will use the standard charge. But for the record, I would object to the court not using our charge as presented.
Right, okay, but you acknowledge what the court's gonna charge is the standard charges. And then, the only other thing is in regards to the indictment,
I'll take one with no orange juice.
it will be redacted in regards to counts, the last two counts. And has the state prepared a redacted indictment?
No, what I had planned to do was take the one from the clerk's file and white out the last two.
You're gonna make a copy and then white it out?
Actually, Chris, no orange juice, no glass. Just give me the bottle.
I could do either way.
Go.
Another way we've done it, Judge, is just to cut an appropriately sized piece of white paper and copy it that way.
Yeah, I think that's what we did in the Chester murder cases.
It is, and I think it's
Uh,
simple on this one.
Do you have any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, how do we handle the front page, though? The front page needs to correspond with the number of indictments, so we're gonna need to cover up the front page as to those last two also.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get that
The
done.
address. And
I'm
I
sorry?
believe you've already excluded the address that we addressed at the very beginning.
Right. That's all right,
That's already been done.
right,
Won't be
as,
done.
right. That was done when we had some hearings. All right, let's get let's get it redacted and have that agreed to before, before I have the jury come back.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else we need to do, from the state's perspective, in regards to, this case?
There's not.
Mr. Harrison?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, let's get that. Mr. Eller, have you got the charges re-prepared?
Just nearly.
I'm sorry?
Just nearly.
I didn't hear you.
I've nearly got it done.
Okay. Well, I'd like for them to, let's get it to them and, before we start argument.
Your Honor, may I step out and make these reactions?
You absolutely can. And that charge is how many pages? 20? You may.
We're all going to have to work together on these closing arguments, because there is no microphone at that stand. However, they did move this microphone, which was before pointing into the jury box. They didn't move it far, but they moved it pointing this way. So maybe it'll be a little better. Who knows?
Okay. So that's gonna take me about 30 or 40 minutes to charge them. Madam Court Reporter, if you need to take a break, it might be a good time.
I think I will do that, Judge.
Anybody else needs to take a break?
I'm on my way.
Court's gonna take a break. Jed, is there any other news Huh?
Judge is going to talk to the jurors. Nah, just kidding. Everybody's taking a break. Everybody needs a break. You guys don't get a break. Is he in there all alone? Wait a second.
No, I'm all right with my sweater.
Where's? Oh, there he is.
Major Chris Holland.
Nice to meet you, sir.
You too, yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
You might got all your stuff from state post, Becky. Our speeder, yeah, most likely.
Okay, don't worry. The judge took it offline for a minute while we were on break.
The lawyers, every one of them,
But you want to 31 like
Okay.
to
Alright. Man.
to persuade you to their, for lack of a better way, their point of view. The state has the right to open and conclude, and then Mr. Harrison, on behalf of Mr. Johnson, would have the middle argument. The state has indicated to me that they're waiving their opening remarks, and Mr. Harrison would then make the initial remarks, and the state will conclude. Both sides have indicated to the court that they're going to argue approximately an hour apiece. And I say that that'll put us at, basically 12:30, 1 o'clock. The charge that I have to give you will probably take 40 to 45 minutes because of its length. And so I don't want you to dwell on it, but while y'all are listening to the argument made by counsel, kind of formulate a decision on whether you want to then, after they get through, you want to break for lunch and then come back and let me charge you, or do you want me to just go straight in and charge you? So, that's something that we'll decide after the argument has been concluded. But anyway, Mr. Harrison, on behalf of Mr. Johnson, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right, you may proceed. Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it's been a long case, a lot of interesting witnesses, and I know y'all have been making notes. I've been making notes, and I want to go through every one of these with you today. I saw your faces. Y'all didn't hear any screams, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to try to cut to the chase on this case. This is the part of the case where the lawyers are trained. You hope that you can be a great orator and explain things and prevail, but
Well, you just failed with all those sentences, dude.
lawyers like myself are human. I'm certain that y'all have been listening, taking notes, and I trust in y'all's ability to hear and reason. And I'm going to try to go through just the main points that I think establish this. This is a case that I cannot stress enough how many charges they have brought against Andre, 16-year-old at the time this offense occurred. But I believe that the evidence is going to show, and you probably through this proceeding, you have seen how helpless a 16-year-old is when they are charged with a crime. And I'm going to go through this, and I'm trusting y'all to put up with me. I hope I haven't aggravated anyone. I haven't treated anyone with disrespect or things of that nature. But if I have, if you think I have, take it out on me, not on Andre. We hope we're going to bring out the points that you raise in the defense of this young man. I think what has basically been shown without a reasonable doubt is Jaquan Brown was shot and killed
that Cortavy Walker, Tay robbed Mr. Brown, and that's about it. Andre was not around during the first part of how this story happened. He was not present. It was beyond his control. I think when we get to this case, if you have ever been told that you shouldn't hang out with those people, you are going to get in trouble. We have seen a litany of witnesses that have been in that crowd. You should never have gone over there. That is one of the first things, the first mistake that Andre made was he was told not to go over there. I believe that's what the evidence was, and he wasn't going over there for the longest time. But the things happened. He was over there. The prosecutor must have run out of offenses to charge based on this case. How many charges can you bring when someone is shot and killed in Sunset? But while I am arguing that Andre is helpless, not really. The law is there to protect him. And that is one thing that we are fortunate to have in our country. There is nothing he can do about that indictment with all of those charges. You'll get a copy of this indictment. I am definitely not going to read every one of the charges, but the court will read that to you. And there, in these indictments, there are charges that are alleged with some facts, but the law, as it says, you've committed malice murder. Well, that requires premeditation, things of that nature, and the judge will charge you as to that law. I'm not going to get in that, but they're called essential elements, and you are to find each and every essential element beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's your duty, and that's what you're here for. As I've said, the indictment, Andre was powerless to stop that, but the court will charge you that our law says, and he will say to you that the indictment is not evidence. Although there's a stigma, and I ask you, remember in voir dire, I ask you, does that mean anything to you? It's got to be guilty. He's charged. No. We found out today that the indictment, we'll find out that the indictment is not evidence. Only one person, perhaps. The defense.
You should definitely be as cynical as you are, because that keeps you safe. I believe so. It is all clickbait. I mean, they say they have these pictures on the thumbnails. You know, the girl gets dragged out of court. Well, and, you know, all they did was say, "Here we go, ma'am." or judge cries. Well, he blew his nose because, you know, it's December. Judge cries on the stand. Or, "You'll never believe what this judge said to this lawyer." And he said, "Objection overruled." Clickbait. It is clickbait. I'm going to do a clickbait later and see what happens. No, I do. I have a really good one coming later, so it might sound a little clickbaity, but it is going to be a good one.
And it sure did not get to present his defense or his side of this story, nor did he have a lawyer to ask questions about it. It's just the vehicle that's formed to get him into court on these charges. Things also that the law gives us through our Constitution, and it's, you know, in this political heyday that we're in, there's a lot of questions now. Constitution this, Constitution that. The part of the Constitution that I love is the one that says that you are presumed innocent. And that law, in the old days, it surrounds and protects you until the state has the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. If the court will charge you, they have that on each and every element of each and every charge, beyond all reasonable doubt.
I should change my title on this one to the fastest talking judge in the world.
Any defense that is called about the essential elements, the defendant does not have to present a defense. We are certainly going to challenge what the state has submitted. Right off the bat, I will say that the state, I'm looking at that 911 tape. It starts when they put that 911 tape, the crime lab tape, crime scene tape, all around the scene. You're not there anymore. You don't have access to that. The state does. Whatever the state gets up here and argues about, I'll give you an example. Today, the mother of Andre testified. Would it surprise you if so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that, or if your son said something different that he didn't see Andre that day? That's where he's supposed to say it now. They've got the subpoena power. Maybe they've done the interview. I don't know. Put him up on the stand. The state, I believe, in this case is going to make a lot of assumptions and a lot of conclusions, but I think y'all deserve, and Andre certainly deserves, as a matter of the law,
Hey, Donut.
to hear it,
Oh,
to confront it, and to challenge it. And like I say, the burden rests on the state to each and every one. The court will also charge you that the law offers this protection too. You cannot convict a person, praise the Lord, based on a suspicion of guilt. Not even a grave suspicion will be sufficient for your verdict to be guilty.
Happens all the time.
Not merely a speculation, not merely a conjecture of guilt. Each and every allegation sufficient proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And all 12 of you have to agree. I was listening to some of the evidence in the case, and my job is to protect the defendant as best I can. The state's job is to convict the defendant as best they can. The judge, you may think of him as a referee, but he's not a referee between the defense and the state. He is a referee for the law. He has he'll tell you in his charge to you, he has no interest in this case, personal interest in this case.
Nah, Rick, nah. I mean, people are always trying to sell shit, so that's all lies. But most of it, I mean, most of the things you see and hear are true in real life, like while you're walking around and talking to people.
Represents the law. I think that I might have tried his patience because I get carried away sometimes. But he is going to give me a chance to defend my client. If I get out of line, he will probably fuss at me. But he is not here to hold me down. He's not here to hold the state down. He is here to support the law, to make sure that this case, the only interest he has is it's fairly tried and that Andre has a fair trial.
Hi,
So that's him. So that is one of the benefits of our law. I will say this, everybody has a duty. In this case, there's been some opinion evidence given by Agent Howard. Opinion evidence that based on his expertise as a gang investigator and things of that nature. I don't know Agent Howard personally, but I will say this. He is not going to be an agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation all those years by being a bad person. I was kind of happy to hear that before his investigation, he says a prayer. There's a lot of praying going on in this courtroom, I assure you. But I was proud. But that does not mean that his opinion carries the day. And that's what I was arguing, that y'all need to make that decision based on the evidence. He had a tough job. He had the awful situation where he's called upon late in the evening.
I can get a ton of Supreme Court arguments, a ton of them. The only problem is with that is there's no verdict. You have to wait weeks for a verdict. So I would have to like record it and prepare it, but not show it for a couple weeks, and then remember to find the verdict and then show it, and that's just a little bit too much work. And not only that, no one would watch it. It's boring. I watch them all the time. I love it because these lawyers duke it out together, but they duke it out in lawyer language. And trust me, I have tried to show lawyers duking it out many times. I think I even tried one last week, and it doesn't work here. Nobody wants to see it. They all get bored.
Agent Howard, get down here. There's been a shooting in Eastman, Georgia, in the Sunset. Gosh, you've heard a lot of evidence about the Sunset area. It's part of our community. It may surprise you, some of the things that go on. There are good people down there, but there's also people that get into trouble, that do things. So he gets called to that. He's got a job to do.
Good job.
He ends up confronted with what I believe to be a complete mess. He's got
guilty.
a shooting the night before. He's got an individual in a wrecked car against a tree that's been shot to death. He's got to do what he has to do. He starts to his investigation. He investigates and interviews all kinds of witnesses. Every witness who I believe he can get his hands on at times, you know. I will fault him about a couple of things that he did not do. But he is human like everybody else. They have limitations. All of those people down there needed to be interviewed. And all of those interviews are
Guilty.
recorded. And I submit to you that he tried to do a good job, but he wasn't working with much. What is that, the computer saying? Garbage in, garbage out? He can't control the garbage that he was told. And that's what comes out of his investigation. He can't alter that or change that. One of the most important aspects of this case, the court will charge you about credibility of witnesses. Now, goodness gracious, that is a big issue in this case. You'll be instructed that you are in charge of finding and determining the credibility of the witnesses. Thank goodness the law allows you to use your common sense. He'll tell you about that. He'll tell you use your just sort of everyday walking around sense, as some of the people used to say. So, an opinion from an expert is not the opinion of 12 peers, and I want you to understand the court will say you don't even have to listen to him. It always kind of makes me feel a little uneasy when the judge will charge you and has charged you all a couple of times.
All witnesses pretty much say exactly what you expect them to say. I mean, you know what they're going to say before they even get up there. If it's a domestic violence case and they got the wife on stand and she looks real mad, you already know what she's going to say. If she looks real humble and apologetic, you know what she's going to say too. He didn't do it. You know what the witnesses are going to say.
What the lawyers say is not evidence. And I'm thinking, please let them listen though, Judge. I hope they listen to me. But I'll give you an example. When that Jana White was up there on the stand, who testified? The lawyer. She asked all the questions, and I go,
Jana White is spelled H-W-H-I-T-E, White.
objected to leading questions, because when you have a witness, you don't want to suggest the answer in your question. Isn't it true that you went to the ball game on Friday night? Well, would a more fair question be, what did you do Friday night? Well, it's a little bit of this and that, but with that Jana White, goodness gracious, there's a credibility issue there. One of the things you can do is to judge your manner of testimony and things of that nature. I'm sorry, I will bring it up. What in the world was she doing with that mask on her lips? Was she trying to hide part of her face? I can be ugly and say she was trying to hide part of her face because she was telling such such whoppers that she didn't want to us to see her face. But she is one of the main problems. Her and Contavia Walker are one of the main problems, because if you remember from the evidence that the interviews are going, well, I forgot how many, 8 or 9 or 10 interviews. Cavorte Walker said, you need to see Janet White within, 2 hours? Is that the time? Y'all made notes on that, I think. All of a sudden, from what that rascal says, they've gotten Janet White. And is she ready to testify? We've heard her tape. Goodness, she was inconsistent from one end to the other. And that is what I believe you can consider in judging her credibility or lack thereof. Sierra White, she was there. I don't want to get involved in this case. That's the same thing with Jana. She did a news interview on TV. She admitted to that. That's not, I don't want to get involved in that case. If you look at those situations, who is related to who? Jakevius Bray, wasn't he a
Thank
cousin?
you, Randy. I'm thinking the same
To
thing.
Tabitha Spikes. I remember in the interview with Corte Walker, we had to play it because that rascal was not going to say anymore. He said enough, So he had to say it, but I believe he said, need to see Tabitha. She knows a lot more. She knows everything. They interviewed Tabitha, but that interview didn't appear in front of us to challenge what she said or what she knows. But I'm sure as the mama of that clan, she knows a great deal of what's going on. The robbery doesn't have much relevance to Andre. I think we went almost a day and a half and never heard his name. All of those interviews at the beginning until Mr. Walker talked never mentioned Andre's name. But once that got out, everybody came back and said, oh yeah, Andre, or Andrew, or whatever other name they called him. They don't know him. The evidence will show that I believe it is Tyrese that said, and Tyrese and Jaheim both said that he hadn't been around in about a year, 6 months. He didn't come over to the house. He was listening to his mother who said, don't go over there. They had sort of a falling out. Andre's problem started when who? Kivo, that Jakevius Bray went with him to the ball game, got him back with that crowd. And if you hang out with that crowd, that type of crowd, bad people, bad things happen. Y'all got to see the bad people, like I've said. But it's important to begin that case with the shooting, because that, I think, gives people motives in this matter of what they might do and what they won't do. The evidence that establishes this fact, the boys are in Warner Robins. Andre, I'm not raising him. His mama's having, to work. He should never have gone to Warner Robins with that crowd. And it's not a gang. Is there evidence that that is a criminal gang that is an essential element to every one of those gang charges? The first thing you've got to find is criminal gang. They're not criminals. They're they're playing gang. The state, I hope the state loses its credibility.
Somebody quick, look him up and see if he's still alive. Oh, he shouldn't have said that.
By trying to argue that 4 or 5 knuckleheads down in Sunset are connected some kind of way to the gangsters' disciples in Chicago that created in 1968. They're not gangster disciples, as even their witnesses say. Sort of made it up, painted somebody, I think who? Jakevius and
Tyrese painted a shed, put that Star of David, I guess, with the four times. I don't know if I don't remember I remember the pitchfork, and I think the pitchfork is funny, and I'm gonna go through some of these photographs and let me give you my idea about what they show. But there's no evidence of him shooting Jaquan Brown. The only evidence you have really that places him outside is Sierra White through her testimony and Janaea White through her testimony.
So he's been talking for a while now, and he finally said, hey, there's no evidence that he shot him. I mean, that's the whole thing. And then he finally said it once. Good job, lawyer.
And both of those people I've got some questions about that I will express to you. So
Maybe you did, Rick.
if we are looking at things, let's look at her credibility, because she's the one that has said a lot. We saw her in the body footage at the very beginning. Isn't that great to have body footage? I wish every police officer wore that camera. Officer Rose, you got to see him walk around. Of course, his first job is what? Sealing that crime scene. And he did that. Who were the first people that walk out? They've appeared on the witness stand, so I guess I can say, and they said that although they did not say they were so close to that line, they were back up in the park. They weren't telling the truth, about that. Minor thing, but I think it does matter, because Jaheim and his girlfriend are there. Tabitha, right there in the middle, or unquestioned Tabitha is right there in the middle. Where's Tyrese?
Judge isn't bored. The judge is waiting to yell at the lawyer. That's all he does, is wait to yell at the lawyer. I don't know if he's going to or not, but he does.
Comes out there later. I think he's a blue figure that comes out of the house much later. Ooh, shooting up a tree got struck by the car. Boy's dead in the car. And Tyrese is home, but he's not out there. What's Tyrese doing? I think we've heard what he was doing earlier. I don't know how long it took to make the 911 call, but we do know how long it took for the police to get there. I believe the Agent Howard was about, 50-something seconds different. When he said it happened at 6:15, that was the first call. I think if you look at that video, if you remember looking at that video, people are on the phone. Sierra White's on the phone. They're calling this. I think we get to see her making her 911 call. What happened in the interim? A lot of things happened in the interim. They end up
playing poker
with Janaea White, and here's where I'm going to find some fault. You can look at it, and Agent Howard doesn't know these people. But you can look at it as, I've got a bad guy that robbed somebody, and I've got him on interview, and I think I broke him. I think I got him where he's going to tell me what's going on, and he gives me that name. Here we go. Can you imagine trying to investigate that case with all those people and the shooting the night before? I don't watch this cold case show, and I don't know if y'all do or not, but apparently that's the big deal. If you wait too long, things hard to find or something. So he's working hard, interviewed all those people. Nobody mentions Andre. So we end up finally getting a break. Let's run with it. We got it. My fault to the officer is this, the agent is this. He's interviewing that Mr. Kevorkian Walker, who is, he starts this business. Jaquan Brown is selling drugs. I didn't want to do this, but State's Defendants Exhibit 7, y'all will have this back with you. That's the victim of this shooting.
Sorry, they put the picture in
I don't know. I asked for a chart and no one gave me one, so I don't know what he's talking about.
with a tie. That's him. That's a dangerous man. He looks like a dangerous man. And I don't know, he's got like 3 firearms that I would be certainly afraid of. So, Tate Walker is gonna rob that fella of his marijuana. Where? In front of the Spikes house. So he does. Then there is trouble because that man ain't putting up with it. I think the state's gonna argue a lot of things about, oh, it's disrespect of the gangs and stuff like that. You steal from a man that has that many weapons, that's in the drug business, and it ain't after because you've disrespected me. It's because you stole from me. You hit my girlfriend with a gun in the head, and I'm gonna kill you. In fact, I'm gonna kill you so much that the house that you robbed me, I'm gonna shoot it up, and I don't care who's inside. I bet Skip Brown, Roderick Brown probably wondered, what in the world gets hit with a bullet fragment? So we end up with a bad man coming back to shoot up and find another bad man. I believe there's another picture of
Thank you, Linus. Merry Christmas. Happy Boxing Day? Yes?
him in here. If not, I'm not gonna waste y'all's time. But look for that other picture of him. He's a bad man too. So 2 bad men are causing a great deal of trouble in Sunset. The boys, that Andre should not have been hanging with go to Warner Robins and, go up there and end up in a hotel room with some girls and liquor store and too drunk to drive home. When one bad man comes to shoot up the place where he got robbed, who's on the phone? Miss White, Janaea White, is on the phone to call Jaheim and let him know. Mama calls him, Mama calls up there too. I would think it would be safe to infer that any reasonable person who had his mother's house shot up would get in a vehicle, even if I'd been drinking a little bit. I'd find somebody sober enough to take me back to my mama's house to see what in the world is going on. Gunshots at my mama's house. Well, we were upset about it, but I think the state's gonna try and argue that that's disrespecting the gang. No, that's trying to kill my mama. My house, I'm gonna go home. It's not some gang thing. It's just pure out anger and revenge. But there is Janaea White getting all involved in that. And like I said, we don't get a chance to do the investigation. We don't get to present evidence to the grand jury. But defendants number 10 is a picture of I'll call it the star witness. That's her. And that boy related to the Spikes. This is one of my we got a good one. Sorry about the Facebook things and stuff, but you put something on, what is it? You put something on there, it'll outlive you. Isn't that the
Nan, I'm going to need you to explain what's going on in about 3 minutes so we all know. So you better get caught up.
That's the truth. Look at that. They don't want to admit this. That's her fingernails, unless this rascal's got some glue on nails or something. And that 3 fingers is what? Gangster disciple signs use 3 fingers. That's a gang sign. She's ganged up. She's showing the whole world on this Instagram post. So you don't think she's connected to the gang, that she's going to say things to protect the gang? Of course she is. So you look at that with her credibility. It goes way down.
calling the night something shot up. She's not just a neighbor. She is involved with them, family members. And so is Sierra. You end up with the 911 call. I always think it was odd when you have police and you have a dead man in a tree by your house. They don't want to hear me. They didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear what I had to say. Oh, yes, they did. Why didn't you say what you appear to know? No. The evidence is that one of the girlfriends said what? They had a meeting. Wish Tabitha Spikes had been up here for me to ask her. What'd y'all say at the meeting, Miss Spikes? Well, the only person that we know of we can sort of stick this with is a little dumb 16-year-old that was hanging out with us up at the Warner Robins, and that's how Andre's name got up. Because he's the only one that's not family member or connected. It's not some gang thing. It's protecting their family. That's what they're doing. But they've got to get him in there some way. So they think up things. They end up with
All right, guys, let's take a field trip real quick. You're going to like this field trip. Ready for this? I hope you're ready for this. Gang signs. Now, I was looking for the 3-point, throwing threes for GP, but I can't find any. But I did find some other ones. Please do not go outside your house and do any of these. I promise you it's not good. If you throw a sign up in front of one of these gang members, you're in big, big, big trouble. Do not do it. Do not do it. So you have a little B and a big B. I'm not saying any of it, just so you know. I'm just showing you. Oh, come on. That is way too complicated. My finger would get a cramp if I did that. That one I can do. I do that all the time. Oh, please, please, please. K is for KS. That was interesting. Yeah. What? Oh, come on. No. Oh, Tiny. No, absolutely not. Why didn't you make it into the gang? I couldn't do that with my fingers. Look, there's a whole bunch of different ones here. Huh. Poor baby. Sorry, that was just a little field trip.
He's got a ski mask on. I think it was Tyrese. Was it Tyrese or Jaheim that said Andre had a ski mask on at Warner Robins? Sorry, got a picture. And it's not
I
Andre.
realize.
It's Jakevius. He's in this up to his neck. They end up, she does her interview, and then all of a sudden, everybody gets re-interviewed, and now they're saying Andre did this, Andre did that. But the problem with making up stories, and this story we are being told is a good example, is you maybe can agree that me and you were at the store together. But dadgummit, there was two people that walked to the store, Tyrese and Andre. Then there were three people that walked to the store, put Andre in there, and Jakevius and Tyrese. These little things that are outside the main core, Andre did it, show that this is a made-up story. It doesn't make sense the way they keep popping him into all of these stories. Y'all have heard them, y'all have heard the testimony, and then that's what they end up with. They end up with this situation where Janelle White, let me see if I can get this. Y'all remember. I'm not the evidence. Y'all have to remember it. In her crazy story, she says, I am up at the house trying to put security cameras up. Hey, your house gets shot up the night before. You might need more than cameras for security. But then she goes home. Can't figure out much of the times about that because she's really unclear. Then she goes to her room. She's on her phone. And hey, I live next door, right next door to him. So I see this car driven by Jaquan Brown coming down the road, round the curve, and he comes by the house. There's some confusion in my mind because I don't know, was the testimony and the story they made up that he came by the house then and then there were shots? Or was it when he came by and talked to Tabitha Spikes and said, hey, I'm the one that shot your house up? And her sons are home. I wonder what that was. Was that a little bit like 6 o'clock at night when he came by, and that's when the shooting occurred? Don't know. We weren't there, and we can't rely on what's said. But she just lives next door. I will thank the GBI for making these photos. But this is a good photo. Defendant's exhibit number 16. That's the street scene. That house is the White's house. That house under that tree is the street. That's the backyard. That's all the trees. And that's where Sierra saw who? Of course, Andre. They're always going to see Andre. Him and Tyrese were in the back of the house, from her house. She saw that. So that's the front. That's the backyard. This is the White's house. Oh, and it's right next door. Didn't she point out a distance in the courtroom? It's just sort of right there to the wall. That's not next to the wall. That's got a forest in between. So that's the house where everybody, the Whites were. And that's the poor tree that got hit by the car. And this is the curve, Defendant's Exhibit 18, that she saw the car come around. And that's kind of a better view. That's the stop sign, and that's the curve right there. She no more saw that car from her house go around the curve than a man in the moon. There is no way that happened. But she got up here and swore to tell the truth and said it was. Her credibility is just not it's just not there. We have a crime scene sketch that shows the distance between there. So that's another thing that they can show where they found the bullets and stuff, where Agent Cootie was doing that. State's Exhibit 15 is the house. Y'all all looked at that, but I want to tell you what they, in my estimation, what they were. That's the house, front of the house, where they're saying they're on the carport. That's the carport, or around the side of the house. State's Exhibit 16, that's more of the side of the house. And in the back of the house, they're saying, Sierra's saying she saw them, and how you can see them coming around to that side of the house, I'll just never know. But we know the night of the incident, Gianna was in her bed doing the phone or something like that, and State's
This is the closing arguments.
Exhibit 17 shows where the car was, and there's a window right there,
Then we get the verdict.
and that's her bedroom, right? She was on the floor. She's looking out that bedroom window up the street and seeing people in the yard, seeing Andre in a mask, for God's sake, come on. She hadn't seen him, I believe her testimony is, but once or twice in a year, never talked to him, and she can identify someone in a ski mask. I like Jakevius's one, because he said, oh, it was only like that. But when he was talking about Andre having a mask on, it was like this.
But lawyer, his mommy sewed Andre right on the front so he would know which one is his.
You know, crazy. She is not to be believed, can't be believed. I wanted to show one picture. This is a good one. You can see it's nighttime. It's State's Exhibit number 19. I feel like, you know, remember Cousin Benny? You know, when you go, okay, now, what is that thing that's got those green things on? Oh, those are leaks. When he's cross-examining the guy that says he saw him pull out of the service station. And those green things are leaves and all that. Well, what are those things right there in that window? Those are blinds. The blinds are closed. Right in the poor man's car is right there. How did she see out of the window with blinds? That is unbelievable. That shoots her credibility. You can't see what's going on. How are you telling all this stuff unless you're told to tell it? In case I don't know if she's gonna say the side view or not, State's Exhibit number 22, there's the car and there's more. So don't think she can get away with it by saying, oh, there's another window I looked at. It's wrong. She's not to be believed. Now, I'm not putting this up as saying, oh, we've solved the case, we know what happened. I don't think anybody's gonna ever know what happened except the person that pulled that trigger. And that person that pulled that trigger is not gonna come in here and admit it. And this person, Defendant's Exhibit number 8, with who is that? That's Laura Williams. She's in the background. Miss Funny Ears. That's more than a neighbor. That's some kind of crazy relationship they got going that she's not just a neighbor. But do you remember on the 911 tape? I think that's a great piece of evidence because it shows where people were who were there. But when the officers were walking up to the car, now we are not going to say much about this, but I do think it raises a question because of something that Sierra White said. State's Exhibit number 24, that's the blanket there, but it shows that door, driver's side door, is not going to open. You're not getting out of that car with the driver's side door. When the first part of that 911 tape, the body cam was done, what was in the floorboard of the car? You saw it. Pistol. Mr. Brown's pistol. No, it was his girlfriend's pistol that she gave him, that he got, swapping out pistols. The state will have a handgun here. Nothing to do with Andre Johnson. Nothing. That is Mr. Brown's pistol that he left behind at Miss Renfro's house, and he took her gun, and we saw it in that video on the bottom floorboard. The most amazing thing I've ever heard, I think, in a long time is, there's a gun right there. Oh, hold it, that might be my gun. Did you hear that man say that? What in the world? He thought a gun in that car could have been his. And she's related, he, I think, was the husband or the live-in of Sierra White. What in the world gonna have I just looked in there and my gun fell out. That doesn't make sense that happened. But we're attacking Miss Janiyah White's testimony. Where'd she say it was? Oh, it was in the driver's seat by the console. That was her on the side of the car, throwing up, screaming, heard her 911 call, very upset, and she, naturally you would be. So
What a Christmas gift. Clarice is here, out of the hospital. Oh, Clarice, I hope you're feeling good. Just rest and relax and take your time, okay?
somebody gets shot, dead body lying in a car up a tree against your house. So she could be upset, but that's the time when she should have been telling this tale, not many, many days later, after Mr. Walker tips off the agent. But this is kind of a different kind of view of what's going on, and I'm not going to stress it, but
all right, guys, I've had enough of this guy. I'm gonna bump it forward to the state. I just can't. I can't unless he shows a video. Is all I'm looking for right now. Oh dear Lord, I'm so glad I did this. Okay, now it's the state. Oh, look. I think she's going to show a video. I'm going to bump it back a little bit. There we go. She doesn't take an hour.
You ready? You want me to do something?
I do.
All right, let's see if I can do it. There we go.
Good job, Judge. Good job.
Stay silent. Don't say anything. Those are the words of Andre Lynn Johnson to Tyrese Spikes after he shot and killed Zaquan Brown. The witnesses that testified before you this week are no longer remaining silent as to what Andre did on that August day. The truth has come out through the evidence that was presented at this trial. And it has shown you beyond a reasonable doubt that Andre shot and killed Zaquan Brown in the head, in the leg, as he was riding by the Spikes residence. All we have heard today is poor Andre, poor boy, poor Zaquan. You saw the crime scene. You saw the pictures. Poor Zaquan. Earlier this week, I got to celebrate a birthday. I got to see another year. Zaquan didn't. Zaquan will never see another birthday. He died at 22 years old. His life was taken from him by nobody other than Andre Johnson. At the beginning of this trial, I told you that my opening statements were meant to be a roadmap for you. It was going to show you where we are, where we're going, and where we're going to end up. And I think that it has shown you at this point, as I told you, that all roads in this investigation led straight back to none other than Andre Lynn Johnson. And I want you to think of each of the witnesses that you heard from during the duration of this trial as a piece of a puzzle. Think of each one of them
Yes.
as one of your jigsaw puzzle pieces. Now, one of the first people that we heard from was Kimberly Renfro. And she told you that she was Zaquan's girlfriend at the time of his death. She told you that they went over to Jaheim Washington's house to sell marijuana. She didn't try to hide that. To Corvante Walker. But what neither of them knew was that Corvante was going to try to rob them at gunpoint, strike Kimberly in the face with the gun. And don't forget, Kimberly told you that Zaquan was upset. He thought he had been set up by Jaheim Washington to be robbed because he left the gang group chat. She told you that. Now keep in mind that Jaheim, Tyrese, Andre, they were called when they were in Warner Robins and told that their house had been shot up. Don't forget that, because we need to remember that for later. No one knew at the time of that armed robbery that it would be the catalyst of a string of events that led to Zaquan's death. Now, during the time that Andre, Tyrese, Jakevius, Jaheim, Tyrell Webb had gone to Warner Robins for a night of partying, drinking, hanging out with girls at the Ramonda Inn, while they were gone, Corvante was robbing Kimberly and Zaquan at the Spikes residence, and it was shot up. Now, the next piece of this puzzle is going to be Janiyah White. Now, she told you that on the day Zaquan had died, she had been at Jaheim's house to help Tabitha Spikes put up some cameras, but that Tabitha was going to bed, so she left. She wasn't able to help her put up those cameras. And she told you shortly before she left the house that she saw Tyrese and Andre walk outside and start walking somewhere. Now, she had even seen Andre earlier that day walking around with a ski mask. She told you that. And Janiyah also told us that when she got back home, she heard shots. She ran outside. She called 911. And she also tells us that she sees Andre in the yard with a mask on and a gun on his waistband. Now, the defense tried to make an issue out of this and suggest to you that the person in the mask was Jakevius Bray. But I want you to think about that, because Janiyah told you that she had known Andre, had been around him, hung around him for about a year. And she told you that she knew for a fact that it was Andre Johnson and not Jakevius. The defense tried to confuse you with the timing of when she called Jaheim and when she called 911. But I'm going to encourage you not to be distracted by the defense's smoke and mirrors. Don't fall for that. You heard Janiyah's screams. You heard her panic. You heard her as she was on the phone, walked outside, saw Zaquan dead in the car. You heard all of that. You saw the crime scene photos and you got to see exactly what Janiyah saw. Anybody would be upset by that. Anybody who had seen what she just saw would be upset. Maybe they forget a few details, but anyone would. The crime scene specialist, Beth Cootie, she talked to you. She told you about the crime scene. You saw some bullet jacket fragments. You saw some other things that had been recovered from the scene. And she even told you that the evidence was consistent with Zaquan being shot while he was in the car. Now, remember, Janiyah was a good friend of the Spikes. She had grown up with them. She was one of the first people that I called as a witness to tell you about 4 times, and that this was a group that Therese, Jaheim, Jakevius, and Andre was in. She would have better knowledge than anybody because she's grown up with them. Then I started calling some additional witnesses, and I told you that I had given them what is called use and derivative use immunity, testimonial immunity. And that's the statute, just in case you wanted to see it. Now, as a couple of these witnesses were on the stand, Mr. Harrison tried to make out a big deal of these people getting immunity. But I don't want anybody to be confused, because immunity does not mean that they're not going to be prosecuted. As I have told you in my opening, they will be. They're going to have their day in court. They're going to have to come back and face their charges. But it's not at Andre's trial. That is for another day. And in order for you to have gotten the full picture of this case, the full scope of who was involved, what happened, and what everybody did, I had to call these people as witnesses. I had to give them immunity so that you would see the whole story and you could make a decision based off of the whole story. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all of the puzzle pieces that you do now. There would be a lot of pieces missing, but that's not the case. Now,
I'm so mad she drew a chart and I can't see it. It's all I wanted.
another very, very important witness that you heard from was Jaheim Washington. Now, Jaheim told you that he received a call from Janiyah White, or let me back up before I get there. Jaheim told you he had received a call while he was in Warner Robins from his mom, from Corvante, basically saying that the house had been shot up. He knew about it, Tyrese knew about it, Andre knew about it, the boys who were with them at the hotel knew about that. And again, I want you to remember that detail. Now, moving forward, Jaheim told you that he had a gun laying down either on the bed or the floor in his room. And he told you that when Andre disappeared that day, his gun disappeared. And he told you how close in time that was to Zaquan's death. And I want you to remember, Jaheim told you that he went over to Janiyah's house to get a plate of food. And when he walked out, he saw none other than Andre and Tyrese walking toward the store. Andre was right here in Eastman at the time of this shooting. He wasn't with his mama. He wasn't with his family. He was right here in Eastman. Now, Jaheim also talked to you about 4 times, and he told you it's a little group that him and Tyrese, Zaquan, and Jakevius were in. Andre was associated with them. I showed him his Facebook picture, and he told you the common hand signs that they throw. He told you what the G4XNG represented. That was their marking. That's how they wrote down 4 times. He told you about all of those common identifiers. Now let's talk about who we heard from after Jaheim. We heard from Jasmine Rice. Now, Jasmine was a very, very important witness because she told you that she knew Andre was at that house, at the Spikes house in Eastman, at the time of the shooting. And not only was he there, she saw him with her own eyes come into Jaheim's room, pick the gun up after he said, "Can I get that?" Pick the gun up, take it, and walk out. There was no doubt in her mind about that. Jasmine knows what she saw. She knows. Just like she knew that the boys were associated with 4 times, but they didn't really discuss that around her. They didn't really talk about things of that nature with Jasmine. Do you remember Agent Howard's testimony about how people associated with criminal street gangs don't talk about it? Why? Because there could be repercussions if they do talk about it. Think about that. Now, one of the most important witnesses that you heard from in this case was Jakevius Bray. And Jakevius Bray told you that he went to Warner Robins with all of the boys the night before, and that they all came back to the house.
Georgia.
They came back to the Spikes residence. And he told you that before he left the Spikes house, that Andre made a comment to him. Andre said, "If anybody comes through here, I'm going to shoot." Who came through there? Zaquan Brown. That was just a short period of time before we know that Zaquan did come by that house. Now, Jakevius told you he didn't have a shirt on. He told you he had a mask on. He told you exactly what he was wearing. Now, keep that in mind, because that is what you saw when he ran back up on the crime scene in the body cam. You saw him. He identified himself for you by his description of what he was wearing. But nobody saw Jakevius there at the time of the shooting. Not a single witness in here told you that Jakevius was at the Spikes house when Zaquan was shot and killed. Now, remember, Jakevius told you that Andre was at the Spikes house before he left. Then Jakevius went to a girl's house. He went to his dad's house. But when he returned, Andre was gone. All of a sudden, he was just gone. And not only was he gone, but Zaquan had just been shot in the head and in the leg. And not only that, Tyrese gave him his Taurus 9mm pistol, along with some magazines to get rid of, because his mom, Tabitha, was on probation. He couldn't have those items in the house. He didn't want his mama to get in trouble. But what else did Tyrese and the boys, Tyrese and Jaheim, what else did they tell Jakevius? Jaheim said to Jakevius, Andre had just killed Benji, Zaquan. They told him that when he came back. Now, Jakevius also told you about 4 times, and I want you to remember when I talked to Jakevius, because when I asked him what it was, he said, gang relations. He said that on his own. And he told you that he was following Jaheim and Tyrese. He told you that he was throwing those signs at the Ramada Inn, and that he knew how to do that because he was following Jaheim and Tyrese. He was following their lead. Now, the most important witness that you heard from at this trial was Tyrese Spikes. He was the most important. When Tyrese got on the stand yesterday, he told you that he had been charged alongside Andre Johnson in this case. And he told you, I wanted to come to court today to clear my name. That's what he told you. He also said when him, Andre, Jaheim, and Jakevius were at the hotel the night before, they found out their house had been shot up. Multiple witnesses all told you that same story. And Tyrese told you that all of them came back to the Spikes house from Warner Robins the next day. And Tyrese said, I was back at the house for a little while. Me and Andre walked to the store. Andre had on a mask. We've got multiple witnesses to corroborate that. Jaheim saw it. Janiyah saw it. Tyrese told you. Now, Tyrese also told you that Andre said to him during their walk to the store that he was going to shoot Benji for the robbery and for shooting up the Spikes house. He told Tyrese what he was going to do right before he did it. And Tyrese even told you he knew that Andre had his brother Jaheim's gun. And just like Jaheim said, when Andre went missing, my gun went missing. Now, when Tyrese and Andre got back from the Dollar General and returned to the Spikes house, Tyrese told you he went to the bathroom. And Andre knocked on the door to tell him he was about to go outside and roll up a blunt. And then within 2 to 3 minutes, Tyrese hears all of these shots and Andre's gone. Do you remember that recording that Tyrese had that I played for you yesterday? Let's listen to that one more time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Why in the fuck would the boy come? Then when he the one who shot up y'all mama house or whatever, like what the fuck is his problem?
I think that's what he's trying to get at. Like why he come back around and he just said it. That's what I don't know.
I'm confused or whatever about that shit or whatever. Sometimes I'm like, what?
That's when I walk out. When I told you I was gonna roll up outside. When I walk outside.
There it was. Jakevius told you that Andre said he was going to shoot. Tyrese told you that Andre had told him that he was going to shoot and kill Benji. And you heard it in Andre's own words. He told you in that recording. So after Tyrese hears these shots, he runs out of the bathroom. And Andre is gone. And Zaquan is dead. Tyrese told you that he went outside. He tells you that he sees Janiyah and Sierra White. He sees them right over there by the car. They see him. And he told you himself that he gave Jakevius Bray his pistol that he did not use that day, along with some magazines to get rid of, because they couldn't have them at his mama's house since she was on probation. Then Tyrese tells you that he talks to Andre on the phone just a couple of days later. And what does Andre tell him on the phone? Keep silent. Don't say anything. Now, Tyrese also told you about 4 times. And he got up here and said, that's something I made up. I am the leader. I am the founder. I am the one who made this up. And he told you that him and his brothers had tagged the gang graffiti on the side of the shed that I showed you, if you remember that picture. Tyrese and the brothers done that. Now, do you remember yesterday when the defense held up the indictment and they started reading off the charges to Tyrese when he was on the stand? Mr. Harrison held up the indictment and he said, malice murder, Tyrese said, not guilty. Felony murder, Tyrese said, not guilty. Aggravated assault, not guilty. Possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, not guilty. But when Mr. Harrison said, violation of the street gang terrorism, guilty, he told you immediately, I am guilty. He said it because he told you he was the founder, the originator, the person who started 4 times. He's not trying to hide that. I'm not telling y'all that he is perfect, that he is a wonderful, perfectly innocent bystander in this. I am not telling you that. I told you he had charges that are also pending related to this incident. And Tyrese told you that. And he told you he was guilty of violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. He never hid that from you. All of these people came here this week and testified on that stand.
Got it, Jay. Thank you.
To put the pieces of the puzzle together for you. They told you what happened. They all told you that they had charges that were arising from this same set of facts, this same set of events. Now let's think about Agent Eugene Howard's testimony. He talked to you a lot about gangs. He told you in his opinion that the gangs we were dealing with in this case involved 4 times and the Gangster Disciples. And he told you that multiple witnesses in this case had identified themselves as 4-time associates. He told you that based on his training and experience, that some of the hand signs, the colors that they wore, and the characteristics of 4 times seemed to be a subset of the Gangster Disciples. And he told you that tagging or graffiti or marking is common for gang members or associates to mark their turf. It's claiming their territory. And remember, he told you that status is everything in a gang, and that no form of disrespect will go unpunished. Tyrese point blank told us that Andre was hanging out with 4 times. He knew Zaquan had been robbed and believed he had shot the Spikes residents up right afterward. And that's why Andre was going to shoot and kill Zaquan. Andre, as an associate of 4 times, wasn't going to tolerate any form of disrespect on the 4 times house. That's why he did it. Now, I want you to think about what Agent Howard said about gang culture. You are not supposed to snitch on anybody. Remember the 6-point star that he talked to you about? And remember how he said one of the points on the 6-point star of David is loyalty. Agent Howard also told you that when associates or members of gangs commit crimes like the ones that Andre did here, that it gives them some sort of status, that it instills fear, that they obtain this status from crimes that they commit. Now, I'm going to go over a few of the charges that are on my indictment. He is indicted with malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, 3 of those charges, and 8 of violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. Now, the standard of proof here for the state is beyond.
Did anybody count? That's like, what, 16 charges?
a reasonable doubt. But I will tell you what it's not. It's not to a mathematical certainty. It's not beyond all doubt. It's not beyond a shadow of a doubt. A reasonable doubt is exactly how it sounds, a doubt for which you can provide a reason. Let's go over the first charge, which is malice murder. Now, a person commits the offense of murder when they unlawfully and with malice aforethought that can be expressed or implied cause the death of another person.
Should I keep going with her, or should I get to the verdict?
Now, what is malice? What is this malice aforethought we're talking about? It's a deliberate intention. It is the deliberate intent to unlawfully take the life of another human being. Now, let's think about what examples of malice that we have in this case. We know that Andre pulled the trigger. When he done that, he formed the thought, he formed the intent to kill Zaquan. If he hadn't, he wouldn't have pulled the trigger. We know that Andre took
Time for a
Jaheim's
poll.
gun. We know that Andre told Jakevius that he was going to shoot. And we know that Andre told Tyrese that he was going to shoot and kill Zaquan. Those are just a couple of examples of malice aforethought in this case. Now, let's look at felony murder. So felony murder is a little bit different. A person commits the offense of murder when in the commission of a felony, they cause the death of another human being. You don't have to have malice in felony murder. So the judge is going to instruct you what the definition of a felony is on this case. He's going to explain that to you. And this felony murder count is based on the aggravated assault that occurred. Now the next one is aggravated assault. What is that? That's when a person commits the offense of aggravated assault when they assault with a deadly weapon, which, when used offensively against a person, is likely to or actually does result in serious bodily injury. Andre shot Zaquan with a firearm. That's a deadly weapon. The judge will instruct you on that. Zaquan received multiple gunshot wounds to the head and thigh, and he died. There was serious bodily injury. This one's pretty easy. Now, the next one we have are 3 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. And remember, I told you that the judge will instruct you in just a little while on what the definition of a felony is.
I don't think she has that much longer. I think she stops right around here. And then they deliberate. And then they give the verdict. So I'll do that. I'm going to play it at double speed. Unless it's really, I mean, they speak so slowly there anyway. We should be able to understand them. Here we go. Let's see.
So there won't be any confusion. Now, this is when any person who shall have on his or her person a firearm during the commission of any crime against or involving the person of another. So, count 4.
Oh, that's so funny. If you speed it up to 1.5, it sounds like she's from up north.
Is going to be the possession of a firearm based on when Andre committed the malice murder. He had a gun on him when he shot and killed Zaquan. Count 5. This is for the felony murder. Andre had a gun on him when he shot and killed Zaquan during the felony murder. The next one, count 6, is going to be for the aggravated assault. We know that Andre had a pistol on his person. He was holding it when he committed the offense of aggravated assault, which the judge is going to instruct you that malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault are felonies. Now, here we have the elements and the definitions, charging language for violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. Let's read it. Subsection A says, it shall be unlawful for any person associated with a criminal street gang to participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of any offense that is enumerated in another code section. Well, what offenses are we talking about?
That's true.
We're talking about malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. All of these charges involve violence and the use of a weapon or possession of a weapon and fall under the correct code section. Now let's look at subsection B. It shall be unlawful for any person to commit any offense enumerated in that same code section with the intent to maintain or increase their status in a criminal street gang. So each gang charge that we have alleged for one of the predicate offenses, which is murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm, there's going to be a corresponding gang charge for that predicate offense because Andre was trying to maintain and increase his status with 4 times in the GDs by committing these offenses.
Thank you.
Now, as I said earlier, the gangs that we have involved here are the 4 times and the gangster disciples, or the GDs. Now, let's look how the facts of this case and the predicate offenses go along with the Gang Act charges. So being associated with 4 times in the GDs, Andre did unlawfully participate in the gang activity through the offense of malice murder, which is a criminal offense involving violence and the use of a weapon. Now, remember what I told you for subsection B. It is the same thing plus the intent to maintain and increase his status. And remember, Agent Howard told you that no disrespect can go unanswered. So he's trying to maintain what status he has with these gangs and increase it by answering back. Zaquan shot the house up. He can't tolerate that form of disrespect. So he shot back at Zaquan and killed him when he came by the very next day. Now the next one is for felony murder, being associated with 4 times in the GDs. He unlawfully participated in criminal gang activity through the offense of felony murder, which is an offense involving violence and the use of a weapon. Remember, for the second charge that goes along with that predicate act, we're going to add with intent to maintain and increase his status. The same exact thing applies for the gang charges relating to the aggravated assault and the possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. It is the same pattern, the same thing applies. This whole situation started with disrespect. Corvante started the disrespect by robbing Zaquan, who was in 4 times. You heard that.
You want to know what's torture after you do something like this with speed? Watch. Oops, wrong one. Listen to it now.
He had to answer it by coming back and shooting up Spike's house. Then Andre had to answer that disrespect by...
That's normal speed. Sorry, I had to show you. I do it all the time.
Shooting up Zaquan when he came by that day. Now, another thing that I'm going to talk to you about, and there's a typo on my PowerPoint, but direct and circumstantial evidence. So the judge is going to instruct you on this. He's going to give you the definitions for this type of evidence. Circumstantial evidence is just as good as direct evidence. You can give it the exact same weight. And there is an example that I like to use to help you better understand what I mean and what I'm talking about by circumstantial evidence. So for just a couple of minutes, I want you to imagine that you're at home and one of your kids has a goldfish in a bowl and that the goldfish in the bowl is in the kitchen. Now I want you to imagine that you also have a house cat. Now when you leave the kitchen, you saw the cat in there, you saw the goldfish swimming around in his bowl, but when you come back to the kitchen, the goldfish bowl is tipped over. The goldfish is no longer in it. The water is running out of the bowl, on the counter, down the sides of the cabinet. The cat is still in there, and you see that his fur has some water on it. His paws are wet. You may even see the fishtail dangling out of the cat's mouth. Now, you were not in there when he tipped the bowl over and killed the goldfish, but you know that he did based on the surrounding evidence. And that is exactly what we have here. Andre Johnson's hands drip with guilt, just as the cat's paws drip with water. We can put Andre at Spike's house at the time of the shooting. We have him telling Jakevius that he was going to shoot.
Guys, for those who just got a membership, if you have not seen this video yet, it's inappropriate, by the way. But make sure you have chat replay on so you can watch the chat while you watch this video. I'm telling you, it's worth $1. If you're not a member, watch that one video. It's really, really good. I can't put it on regular because it's inappropriate.
We have him telling Tyrese that he was going to shoot and kill Benji. You hear him on the recording that I played, talking to you and telling you about what happened. We know that the gun belonging to Jaheen disappeared when Andre did. We have the same thing here as we do with this example. Now let's talk about Andre's alibi, that he was with his mama the whole time. A lady named Suzanne came up here before you and told you on the stand that she called Andre's mom, Jamel Wilcox, at 6:53 p.m., but she did not get to talk to him. She doesn't get to talk to Andre until 8:29 p.m. Now let's think about what Miss Wilcox just said. Miss Wilcox just got on the stand and told you, yeah, Suzanne called me at 6:53. I missed the call, so she called right back, and I answered the phone. And I asked her, well, why did you call back at 8:29 p.m.? Oh, I was driving. Well, she told you that Suzanne called to check on Andre, to speak to Andre. If he's with you and you're driving the car, can't you just put the phone on speaker, hand the phone to Andre, let him speak to Suzanne, and let that be that? No, she can't. Why? He wasn't in that car. He was not with her. She had no idea where he was. Now, I also asked her, why are you texting Andre at 2:02 and 2:03 p.m. trying to see where he's at? Now, remember, Miss Wilcox told you that Kayla Morgan dropped Andre off at the house in Ryan, that he came in, she saw him, he went over to Maddie's house to do some yard work, and that she knew where he was the whole time. If you know where he is at, why are you texting him at 2:02 and 2:03 saying, Andre, where are you at? And I want to draw one more thing to your attention. We know that Suzanne called at 6:53, right? Because everybody said that. We know that the call was missed. She called back again. There was a brief phone call, and Jamel was just like, oh, well, I'm driving. I got to get off the phone. We'll call you back. If Andre was with her, why, just a couple of minutes after Suzanne called at 6:53, did she text him at 7:08 saying, Andre? It's because Suzanne was calling, trying to talk to him to see where he was, and Jamel didn't know. So she was trying to get in touch with him real fast. That is exactly what it's telling us, that he was not with her. Now let's think about Kayla Morgan. Out of all of the people that I put on this stand, not a single solitary one of those people told you that some girl named Kayla Morgan had come and picked up Andre. Nobody saw this girl, and she told you she pulled up either in the driveway or right up in front of the house. If that's true, she was in these people's yards, and not a single soul saw her. They didn't see her because it didn't happen. That's exactly why. So I will go ahead and try to wrap things up for everybody. I know it's been a long week. I know everybody is tired. I know y'all are tired of listening to me talk and my voice going in and out and hearing me cough 400 times this week, and I apologize for that. But one thing I want to bring up is that a couple of minutes ago, Mr. Harrison, the defense, he made a reference to you about the movie My Cousin Vinny. Does everybody know that movie? And he did that when he was showing you one of the pictures that was in evidence. I think it was a picture of a house. And he held it in front of you and he said, what is this? What is this? What is this? It's blinds. There's blinds on this house. Well, I also like that movie. And because of that, I'm going to reference that movie too. So instead of pointing to blinds in a picture or pointing to something in one of those pictures to you, I'm going to ask you this. What do you call the evidence in this case? What do you call the testimony of all the witnesses in this case, saying that Andre was at the scene during the time of the crime, that he had Jaheim's gun, that he was going to shoot and kill Zaquan? What do you call all that? Evidence of guilt is what you call it. If you know it, shout it out. And today, I'm asking you as jurors not to stay silent like Tyrese did when Andre told him to. Don't stay silent today. I want you to shout out the truth. And the truth is Andre Johnson shot and killed Zaquan Brown. And you've been able to see that through the evidence that we presented to you during this whole week at trial. And I just want to thank you for your time, for your attention, for everybody showing up and fulfilling your duty as jurors. You have paid very close attention. I've seen people taking notes. I know that you've been listening to the evidence. And it's been a long week, but I think that everyone has fulfilled their duty as jurors this week. The state has proved to you each and every crime charged in this indictment beyond a reasonable doubt. And we are asking you here at the close of this trial to find Andre Lynn Johnson guilty of each and every offense charged. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Nope. The only possible way I'm going to play jury instructions is if all 73 of you watching each give me $1,000 super chat, which means I am not playing the jury instructions. No, absolutely not. Not happening. Can't stand it. Okay, so they say it's offline. They're not offline. The jury's deliberating. And the jury comes back, and I'm going to leave it double speed because it's a lot of counts. He's going through a lot of counts. Okay. There we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're considering the case of the state of Georgia versus Andre Lynn Johnson. The grand jury of this county has indicted the defendant with the offense of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, 3 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and 8 counts of violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. The indictment states the exact charges, and I'll read those charges as they are stated
15 charges, I think, if I counted right.
on the indictment. Count 1, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and in behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of malice murder, for that the said accused did unlawfully on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, with malice aforethought cause the death of Zyquan Brown, a human being, by shooting him contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 2, the grand jury is aforesaid in the name and on behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of felony murder, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, while in the commission of the offense of aggravated assault, a felony, did unlawfully cause the death of Zyquan Brown, a human being, by shooting him contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 3, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of aggravated assault, for that said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, and as I've stated earlier, that's Dodge County, Georgia, did make an assault upon the person of Zyquan Brown with a deadly weapon, to wit, a firearm, by shooting him contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 4, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, Dodge County, Georgia, did unlawfully have on his person a pistol, a firearm, during the commission of the crime of malice murder, a felony, a crime involving the person of Zyquan Brown, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 5, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson, Therese Spikes, individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, did unlawfully have on his person a pistol, a firearm, during the commission of the crime of felony murder, a felony, a crime involving the person of Zyquan Brown, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 6, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of possession of firearm during the commission of a felony, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and the state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, did unlawfully have on his person a pistol, a firearm, during the commission of the crime of aggravated assault, a felony, a crime involving the person of Zyquan Brown, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 7, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of violation of Street Gang and Terrorism Prevention Act, in that for the said accused on the 21st day of August in the county and the state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the Gangster Disciples and 4X gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of the offense of malice murder, a criminal offense involving violence and the use of a weapon as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-5-3 by shooting and killing Zyquan Brown with the intent to maintain and increase his status in said gang, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 8, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson, Therese Spikes, individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the Gangster Disciples and 4X gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of the offense of malice murder, a criminal offense involving violence and the use of a weapon as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-15-3 by shooting and killing Zyquan Brown, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 9, the grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission.
I'm scrambling right now very hard because when I heard him reading out all these charges, I thought that was the verdict. And this is not the verdict. So I'm trying to get you the verdict real quick. Snoopy, thank you much. Thank you. I have to slow it down because I need to see what that second name is because there's a ton of Andre Johnsons. I'm going to get you the verdict right now. I just got to slow it down for a second.
Of a crime with the offense of violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and the state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the Gangsters Disciples and 4X Gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of the offense of felony murder, a criminal offense involving violence and the use of a weapon as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-15-3 by shooting and killing Zaquan Brown contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 10. The grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the Gangster Disciples and 4X Gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of the offense of felony murder, a criminal offense involving violence and the use of a weapon as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-15-3 by shooting and killing Zaquan Brown with the intent to maintain and increase his status in said gang contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof.
What is the other person's name? All right, Andre Johnson and something. Zach Brown, but that's not what he's saying.
Count 11. The grand jurors aforesaid in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes in
Is he saying Therese Spikes? And how do you spell that? I'm just going to put S-P-A-C-K-S. Because there's too many Andre Johnsons. Brittany's. No, that Speaks. No, I said Spikes. Spikes. Let's see if you guys have any idea. No, none of you typed anything. It's okay. I have an idea. You think it's Spikes? All right. Therese Spikes. There's a lot of Spikes that I can deal with.
Individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and the state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the Gangster Disciples and the 4X Gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in gang activity through the commission of the offense of aggravated assault, a criminal offense involving violence and the use of a weapon as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-15-3 by shooting Zyquan Brown, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 12, the grand juries aforesaid and in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of violation of Street Gang Terrorism Prevention Act, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the gangster disciples in the 4X gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of the offense of aggravated assault, a criminal offense involving violence and the use of a weapon as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-15-3 by shooting Zyquan Brown with the intent to maintain and increase his status in said gang, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 13, the grand jurors aforesaid and in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of the violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the gangster disciples and 4X gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of the offense of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, a criminal offense involving possession of a firearm as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-15-3 by unlawfully having on his person a pistol during the commission of the crime of aggravated assault against Zyquan Brown, contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. Count 14, the grand jurors aforesaid and in the name and behalf of the citizens of Georgia charge and accuse Andre Lynn Johnson and Therese Spikes individually and as parties concerned in the commission of a crime with the offense of violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act, for that the said accused on the 21st day of August 2022 in the county and state aforesaid, meaning Dodge County, Georgia, being associated with the gangsters' disciples and 4X gang, a criminal street gang, did unlawfully participate in criminal gang activity through the commission of the offense of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, a criminal offense involving the possession of a firearm as enumerated in paragraph 1 of Code Section 16-15-3 by unlawfully having on his person a pistol during the...
Okay. I found the news article where they were arrested. I got their names, I got the dates, I got everything. There's no news article on the verdict. So what I'm going to do is go back to the beginning of the jury instructions and see if he says the case number. He should. Yeah, I found the original news story, Tina. I'm looking for the case number because none of those names are coming up. Zyquan Brown won't come up because he's the one that's that passed away. Come on, Judge.
All right, let's come to order. Everybody be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're considering the case of the state of Georgia versus Andre Lynn Johnson. The grand jury of this county has indicted the defendant with the offense of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, 3 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and 8 counts of violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. the indictment states the exact charges, and I'll read those charges as they are stated on the indictment. Count 1, the grand jurors of forced.
I need a case number. Why can't he give me a case number? The dead person's name isn't gonna help me find it. I need the case number. I just need the case number. That's all I need. Hold on. I have one more idea. No. All right, I know this is in Dodge County. I know it's Superior Court. And I know it's 2022. I'm going to go January 2020. I'm going to go December 2021. That way I'm sure to pick it up. Tracy, Teresa, Tracy, Tyrese Blash. Unbelievable. It's just not here. I'm so sorry. I thought he was reading the verdicts. When I would fast forwarded it, he was reading the charges. Hold on. Let's just
Said in the name.
Oh, I think I found it. I just think I didn't go far enough. Yeah, there's an envelope.
Well, no, I mean the whole body cam's in.
Okay, I just.
Because we had a dispute about that,
Yes.
where you only played 10 minutes of it or some amount.
Yes.
And then Mr. Harrison wanted it all in with the understanding that he wasn't going to play it all, but it's there.
I was just merely trying to confirm.
All right. 1 and 2 can be replayed. In the evidence submitted, was there a specific caliber of bullets determined? Well, that's for them to determine from the
It's
evidence.
too tiny.
I think 3 and 4 are one of those.
I can't read that. I don't know what that says. Can't you just give me a case number? Nope.
Well,
I can't read it. I'm sorry. It's too tiny.
I don't know that that's true, because in regards to both of
Wait,
them,
maybe I can.
there were fragments of bullets and shell casing placed in the record. And are they asking to, I'm not, and we didn't send those back with them.
There was no evidence as to the specific
Okay.
caliber.
Good enough.
Where they were.
I don't know what,
Good
I don't know
enough.
that. I haven't seen the shell casings. Sometimes the caliber's on the bottom of the shell casings.
Not guilty. Not guilty of all the charges. So, I thought he was guilty. I thought when he was reading the jury instructions, that was the verdict, and he was found guilty of everything. Hold on. Brent, thank you so much for finding that. Oh, there's the case number, but thank you so much. I don't need the case number now because you found it. You found the not guilty. I appreciate it. Sorry, guys. That's what happens when I put a 3-hour and 30-minute stream together in 20 minutes. All right, it was probably like 40. Put on your goggles. Like I said, I should have put on both of them. Now I can read it. Whew. Oh well, at least, you know what? At least we got to hang out for a while on Christmas. And nobody was alone. We were all together. Bren saved us in the end. Guys, thank you so much for coming out today. I really, 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 really appreciate it. I hope you have the best Christmas today. Don't forget to go into Discord. If you're not having the best Christmas, go into Discord and talk. Just talk, because there's chances are that there's a lot of other people who are not having a great Christmas too. And you talking in Discord will help them get through. So I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for coming out, and I hope you guys have a great day. I may or may not stream tomorrow. I'm just saying there is a possibility I take tomorrow off. We'll see. If I can't find any stuff tonight, I will take tomorrow off. Bye, guys. See ya.
Got these life echoes, digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Freedom tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Her eyes hear a sky so blue. In her jokes there's a truth so true. With each stream she brings the light, turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no